What's up, guys? It's me, Atari HMB. How's everyone doing tonight? Glad to see that everyone was able to make it through on the stream tonight. We are, live here today, ready to talk about an interesting but very commonly known topic, which is, of course, why versus battle details matter. And, the rest of the stream can go from there, whatever else we want to do. But I just figure, why don't we have a target selected topic? That'll make the stream a lot more focus-centered, and then we could talk from there about whatever else you guys want to throw into the discussion. So the topic is why details, or I should say why details. So there you have it. So this is definitely something we're going to focus on and lock in today. So let's go ahead and get the introduction out the way. Jojo Lion, welcome to the stream. Mateo DBZ06, welcome. Makare KH, welcome to the stream, my friend. Hey, how you doing today? Hey, what's going on? Enlighten Saiyan, welcome to the stream. What's good, J-Rex? Glad to see you made it. Hey, how you doing, Moss? Welcome to the stream. Appreciate you for stopping by. What team of characters do you need to fight a team composed of SDB, Super Dragon Ball, Heroes, Daishenkan, and Pre-Recon Beyond, and Lucifer DC Comics? A great question. I'll go ahead and address that. Yo, what's going on? Glad you guys are able to make it today. We are excited here to really lock in and kind of jump right into topics. So again, the stream is going to be a 2-hour long stream. Well, as intended, as you guys may see, the streaming schedule is usually 7:30 to 9:30, but today we started around 8 o'clock, a little bit later than that. So because we started around 8:05, I plan on trying to end it at 10:05 to keep things consistent, to give you guys the full 2-hour experience. Let's jump right in and get started. So the first thing we're going to notice when it comes down to it is, a lot of versus battles. I think the problem with a lot of versus battles nowadays is that there's not much detail thrown into it, right? So let's go into an example battle, right? I'm a bit sick today, so I skipped school and was able to watch the stream. Hey, I hope you get well soon. But that's awesome that you were able to come tune in for the stream. We also talk about health related things as well. So if you have any questions related to health, I study that just as much as I do power scaling, if not more. So, if it's a sore throat, I got you covered on that. There's a couple of remedies I can suggest. I'm not a doctor, I'm not certified, but hey, All right, so let me give you guys an example of a typical battle we would see very often take place. So let's do let's see a common battle that we'll see right. So let's do something like this. So let's go to Quora, right? Because I guess. So here's where. Hey, good quality. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for stopping by. So guys, I'm gonna give you a pure example of what we're talking about, right? So let's kind of talk about a couple things, right? So I had this is actually a really good battle. So this is gonna be a little bit on the high end, but I figure, why not use my example to help you guys out. So here we go. So let's go ahead and use this for the main example point, and then we'll go from there. So the topic in mind is why details matter, for those who missed it. But yeah, a sore throat right now, but it's not bad, it's mild. So what you want to do real quick, enlighten, 2 things you can do. Three things. One, you can either utilize simple sea salt and warm water and then gargle it gently. That's going to help. and then take it down with a soothing ginger tea with honey. Or you can, and generally speaking, you can put a couple pepper flakes on some honey on a spoon, which is number 2, like Manuka honey. That's an expensive option. So going with like raw honey is another thing. You can take a spoonful of that. That's also going to help soothe your throat if you want a natural method. And the third one I would say is one of my favorites is personally colloidal silver. I like colloidal silver or Manuka honey because the antimicrobial properties. And if you are worried about colloidal silver, just do your research. Granted, I will just tell you that no, your skin is likely not going to turn blue unless you have a very rare or specific condition. So don't worry about that as much. The thing is, you look up anything negative, there's always a side effect. I mean, people are telling people nowadays vegetables are bad, so just use discernment. So colloidal silver, honey, or just simple sea salt and warm water, which is going to help out. But each one has a tier list on how fast they work. In my opinion, Manuka honey is probably the fastest in combination with colloidal silver, and then followed by, well, first you would gargle, right? And then if you combine all 3, you're probably going to get rid of your sore throat same day, probably in like 2 hours. But yeah. Honey and ginger tea does help, but just keep in mind, make sure the ginger is actual ginger. A lot of ginger teas put in fillers and don't actually really utilize the actual ginger. And you want to make sure you really emulsify the ginger in the water. So utilizing not just the ginger itself, but a few other herbs can also help soothing it, like peppermint. That can help out as well. And make sure that when you actually put the honey in the tea, make sure it's lukewarm. Don't want to, because if it's not lukewarm, all the antimicrobial factors and including the enzymes that honey typically has will be killed if it's boiling. So keep it like relatively lukewarm, a little bit above room temperature, but like you really want your tea to be like 90 degrees at most. You don't want it to be like 90 degrees is solid enough for you to get still some of the benefits. I believe honey doesn't lose its enzymes at a certain temperature. So yeah, it should be able to survive in 90-degree water. But yeah, you don't want it to be too hot. That way you make sure you absorb all the nutrients. Anyway, back to the match. So, guys, what are we talking about when it comes to details matter? Let's go into an example. All right, so here we got our boy here. This is like an old battle. It's like Superboy versus Vegeta. Who would win and why? Now, my answer changed on this. But, like, this is to give you an example of, like, why details matter. So, details matter for a couple reasons. And I'm going to tell you guys a little bit of why. If you can only use the gargling method, then go for it. Just make sure it's sea salt. Table salt is poison. Do not use it. Yellow protiative soda, stay away from it at all costs. If you've got it in your house, tell your parents, throw it out immediately. It's only like $2, $3 to get organic sea salt straight from Whole Foods. $2, $3, maybe $4 at most, but it's worth it. It's worth it. People out here can buy a Starbucks coffee $5 a day. It's not going to cost that much to get organic Celtic sea salt or just organic sea salt at a store. Some of them will be like $11. You don't need to do all of that. You could just get yourself a basic kosher sea salt, which can help out. Or, generally the higher quality grade, the better, because the better mineral density. Like if you can get Icelandic salt or Celtic salt, that would be preferred. But obviously those are like $6, $7. Some people that might be too expensive. I recommend getting it if you really want to see results, but you'll still see results with just the cheaper alternative. That's correct. Yep. Exactly, Moss. Yep. Always get it fresh. Yeah. You can get it fresh. I mean, it being dehydrated won't always take away the properties, of course. But generally speaking, the fresher, the better, of course. But you have to let that steep for some time. But yeah, I got like white things at the back of my throat and mouth, and they hurt. And I don't know how to get rid of them. White things in the back of your throat and mouth, and they hurt. Sounds like a bacteria. Let's see. That could be a plethora of things. Now, obviously, I have to say as a disclosure, go to your, of course, your physician, your primary care physician, to make sure you're getting that checked out. But if you want to save yourself a trip, let's see. Is it on your tonsils? So I don't think it shouldn't be tonsil stones. I hope that's yeah. If you have like white spots on the back of your throat. No, you're not making it. It's okay. It's okay. Hey, details matter. If you feel like it's strep throat, so back to the method I recommended. So strep throat is something you're gonna want to get you're definitely gonna want to like utilize antibiotics. A primary care physician will be able to prescribe you with the proper antibiotics. So you're going to be going on antibiotics for some time. Manuka honey is still going to help out, but that's like $50 for like 850 mg, which is the potency of it, antimicrobial activity. And you know, if you could afford that, if you could afford like $50-$60 to get Manuka honey, I'd say it's definitely a lifesaver, especially for a naturally homeopathic method. But obviously, strep throat can be very deadly and dangerous. So if it is strep throat, I recommend seeing a primary care physician immediately, because that can be fatal if not treated. So want to see a primary care physician if you have the opportunity to. I still recommend using colloidal silver just because the antimicrobial properties of how it works is very potent against a lot of different bacteria and viruses. Some protozoa can survive the environment of the silver ions, some do not. Obviously, it's going to help slow down the spread to some degree. And some studies that have shown, if you want to, I would recommend doing your own research in National Library of Medicine, looking up some studies, but you will see some result if you utilize some form of colloidal silver and, of course, a high level antimicrobial honey, high level enzymatic honey that can help. Of course, you want to get your hands on some antibiotics. And when you get some antibiotics, what's going to happen is once you're done with the antibiotic trial, that's when you want to start stocking back on like fermented. I mean, if you take fermented dairy, and if you're vegan, utilize like sauerkraut or fermented beets. Definitely something to get the probiotics back into the system, but also get some prebiotics too, because prebiotics can also help break down, like, I believe it's fiber. So prebiotics can also help too, and then you get that back in your system, reset your gut health, get it back up and running. But recommend getting a prescription on some probiotics from a primary care physician, just because they'll be able to give you a proper recommendation, proper diagnosis. But in the meanwhile, while they're doing that, then that's when you use the Manuka honey or the colloidal silver to kind of help, you know, slow down the effect, possibly negate it to some degree. But yeah, there you go. Anyway, back to the topic. Yeah, and the reason why I know about health stuff is because, I mean, for those of you who are curious why I know about like health related stuff, is because since like 2012, I've been studying a lot about health. And, you know, and the reason why I studied about health is because back in 2010, there was a certain person I wanted to look like. And because I wanted to look like that person, that's why I studied on that. So for those of you who don't know who I want to look like, I either want to look like this guy. I either want to look like this guy in terms of like physical fitness, or Akira Hongo, who is from Kenichi, because I liked his super efficient, powerful strikes, but slim body, like the Bruce Lee type of ordeal. Anyway, that's off topic, but yeah. We're going to be talking about, we could talk more about that in a later time if people are interested in learning about more optimal ways to build muscle. And we could talk about opportunities you could take there. All right, so. Hey, appreciate it, 1990 Dello. Appreciate it. Hey, if you guys are interested, let me know. Hey, You'll find out. I mean, because one of my favorite YouTubers is Jaxblade. I like that he incorporates what he likes from anime too. Shout out to Jaxblade. But I also do that too. I just haven't done it because, I'm like, dang, like, what do I talk about? Like, who knows? Maybe we'll do a video and say how to train like Goku and recover like Goku. How to actually find a real life human Zenkai. And there's actually a mental way you can do that. Cognitively, and there's also a physical way of things you're going to be taking, because remember, faith without works is dead. So if you're going to have, you're going to abuse the properties of the law of attraction and quote unquote placebo, but like the way the placebo can cognitively make the body believe that something is going on, you're going to actually abuse that in conjunction with a couple of other supplemental nutrients. And best way is to get the best bioavailability, and how like you could detox so you can absorb nutrients better, heal a lot faster. Like I'm talking like I can go from being extremely sore with insane DOMs, and then with the next day or within like 6 hours I can get rid of them completely with no drawbacks, including joint pain. And no, it doesn't involve ingesting borax or those other things that people put on TikTok. But anyway, back to the match. Versus shorts doesn't sound like a bad idea. Author glazed YouTube. Yo, man, that would be funny. Dark Knight, welcome, by the way. We're glad to see you in the stream. All right, guys, so let's jump right in. Okay. So the problem is, like, why is details important? Details are important because of several factors. The problem is nowadays, let me show you what people do about versus battles. I'm gonna. This is my example, but I'm gonna show you an example. So here's an example of why details matter. Vados versus Godcloth Athena. Okay, Athena is from Saint Seiya. This is from 4 years ago, which isn't that far, because that's like 2021 territory. So this isn't that far when you think about the versus battle development scene. But yeah, this is Athena from Saint Seiya and Vados from DBS. Now, obviously, you're going to see some of my comments in here, but like this, deactivate, so yeah. So anyway, they'll say Athena is far faster, has more AP, and better hacks. She turns Vados into a vegetable just by standing near her. Okay, problem with this statement is, one, there's no source. So that's besides the point. That's just bad debating. But the problem is, let's say she does have better AP and better hacks and turns her into a vegetable by standing there. The question comes down to, what is the Athena going to do in that situation, right? So this is when we go into details matter. So you guys remember the image I had for the thumbnail? Well, let's pull that bad boy up, okay? So, kind of looking at that in just a moment. Let me put this away for a second. Give me a second here. Let's grab that bad boy, right? All right. Yeah, let's grab that bad boy real quick. All right. So yeah, let me go here. Actually, not even. Let's do this. All right. Why details matter? So you have your strengths of your character, your weaknesses, you have your stats, and then your personality. Now, this is not an actual to scale chart. I just needed a thumbnail. But the idea is personality plays a big factor into a versus battle. This isn't a Pokemon game, okay? And chat, fires, all right. For those who agree in the chat, let me get like a thumbs up, fire, whatever you want to throw out there. Let's get like a thumbs up. Like, how many people have ever seen like a versus battle where people would just say XYZ wins, they have this and that, and that's it. And then it becomes like, okay, but that's not really in character, right? So it's just like, all right, that's not in character. You're saying Athena would turn her into a vegetable by standing near her. How would that happen exactly? Like, let's put the scenario and put Vados, right? How would that happen? You know what I mean? So, yeah, in character, Athena and Vados would probably be friends. Yeah, exactly. Well, we know that. But, like, let's say they had to fight, right? They had a conflict. I had seen that so many times. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, good quality. So, good quality is also just stated, like, he's seen that multiple times. All right. A lot of us have seen it multiple times. It happens all the time. People always say that this character wins. They don't go into detail. Let's look further. Athena blitzes and one-shots DBS. Okay, that has nothing to do with the topic. So again, this individual is trying to drive a point. They're trying to prove that she could solo Dragon Ball Super in general, so there's no need to argue, which also is false. Dragon Ball Super finished by Hair. This is 4 years ago. Dragon Ball Super had already finished, so clearly they didn't watch the show. Athena's far faster, has more AP. Okay, let's read this. Athena stomps. Okay, no details. Again, that's the problem. How does she stomp? Why make a battle with someone who hasn't shown any feats in either manga or anime, even if she still loses? Again, bad detail. Spite. Vados suddenly becomes a vegetable just from standing near Athena's presence. GG. Again, no detail, no information. Vados gets turned into a cheeseburger. Again, Athena never does that in the show. Is it a bit of a hyperbole to what she can do? Probably this is what this comment is intended. He's probably like, I'm exaggerating, but I think Athena can win easily. That's what he's probably saying. But the problem still stands. Context. Athena is not an aggressive fighter. She's not an aggressive fighter. I know, even versus Battle Week, that's a shame. I agree. Athena is not defeating Vados. She is on par or possibly above. She's on par or possibly above Whis. From what we have seen of Whis is absurd and wasn't even close to his full power. Exactly. Good point. Talking about a Moro level character, Moro, who Goku said was the toughest being he's ever fought, meaning above Broly and Jiren. And despite that, Whis blocks his most strongest attack with a finger. I don't, without even looking or trying. Not even using his angel powers. He's just passively like, okay, let me just block that. So anyway, Goku. All right. So then this is me. By the way, this is my comment, guys. This is a deactivated account for me. Like, yeah, this account's gone. All right, but it says here, we've established low multiversal levels of power, infinite Zamasu, and, I go into here, energy contained by the might of different conventions. I go into a whole thing. So I say, I believe Vados wins either 0 difficulty or mid difficulty at best. Keep in mind, this isn't definitive and my mind could change, but I at least wanted to provide an argument rather than an empty claim such as she stomps. So I came in with logic. What did I get? All of this. I'd love to see some evidence for those claims as far as they go without scans or proper scan in the data books and so on. So yeah. See, it says Adatari. Yeah, feat of anyone below Zeno demonstrating multiversal levels of power, which again, as you guys can see, the ignorance. I don't know how often this nonsense was debunked. Where is Universe 7 a macrocosm? Where is the proof that the universe is at least 2 times bigger? Please statements in the manga or mangaka, not the scan without words. There is no problem that your favorite verse is weaker than the other. So as you guys can see, I bodied everyone. I soloed this entire thread. Because I was responding to everyone rapidly, the mods thought I was spamming, so they actually silenced me. Either that or they just got salty. I said, you Buhan Vice shout here, which again, boom. In here, boom. Dimensions range from the afterlife and demon world to Rosette arguable timelines. Here, boom. Yep. This link, Toriyama describes the afterlife as being a separate dimension from the living world. Hence, he used the term worlds. Again. Yep. And yeah, I for those of you wondering what I did, this was the scan I downloaded. There is a separate timeline. So again, as you guys can see, details matter. And these type of details are very important. So as you can see, seemed like the scan view you brought was filler. Therefore, everything you brought up was nullified. So as you can see, there's a bunch of trolls. Nobody's really using an argument. And I even said, actually, it was not non-canon. It was part of Toriyama's anime script. Evidence is proven by DBZ Kai, Toriyama's specific cut. And then I brought this. Akira Toriyama original cut edition. And then as you guys could see here, we went into Herm's translation, 2 separate worlds. Everything was neatly organized and concise and cohesive. So chat, let me get some fires in the chat if you guys think I absolutely obliterated this entire thread. And that despite everyone else trolling about it, they got bodied. Appreciate you, Moss. Anime Z characters are faster than super characters according to Versus Battle Week. I know, it's like so weird. Like, come on, my guy. Even Versus Battle. Let's see, Vados solos. Oh yeah, absolutely. You literally soloed an entire website. I appreciate it, guys. But this is what I'm talking about. So back in the day, I was still telling someone, let's see. Yes, Buhan's Weishout and I will read soon when I have more time. Hold on. Yes, Buhan's Weishout here. Doesn't happen in the manga, which is the canon source. Okay, that's awesome. Like Heaven and Hell or other pocket mentions from different fiction, by that logic, Naruto versus a macrocosm size with 5 times universes of Bleach is around 3 times bigger than our universe. I mean, it is. So I'm not denying that. What I need is a clearly statement that other dimensions have a comparable size. Let's see links. Hence the term world. Source of the scan, because it looks of it from a fan wiki or blog. You literally have to. So when you see that, you literally get to type it in, Toriyama's interview, and you get to see it. There are more than one problem. Did that happen in the manga too? Oh yeah, we know that heaven itself within the afterlife is as big as the observable universe here. Yes, okay. Did that happen in the manga too? Is the official translation world, universe, or world? Who stated that in heaven is comparable? Is the text even official? There's a separation of the timeline and those born. Don't know what that has to do with the macrocosm. Time in the hyperbolic time chamber works different too, but is still part of the same space-time continuum, which it is not. Elder Kai clarifies that. If you destroy the universe, you destroy everything else. I will read soon if I have more time. All right. She can remove Vados' sense. So here's what he did. He said, we don't saw a lot of hacks from those angels, and even if we could highball Vados somehow above Athena, she can't kill Athena. Athena can remove her senses. Let's take a look. So somebody said, the movement of God utters their name one to another. Their presence, spirit explodes their words. Typhon and Athena become halos and begin to sparkle. An energy equivalent to the clash between galaxies, all cover in blinding mass. The wills of the god collide within the cave. The 6 senses, when exposed to the gods, are denied and unusable. Only cosmos remain. The only thing that preserve the individual identity of each of the beings present. So as you can see, the problem with this is not even interpreted properly. How does this prove anything that she could remove Vados' senses? The 6th sense, they don't share the same senses. Vados senses God Ki, which is on a completely transcendent level, so it has nothing to do with that. Even Whis could sense another being outside of time itself, like in Zamasu, and Beerus felt them too. And they were like completely away from Earth, and it was like, there's something going on with the timeline right now. Gods and Saint Seiya are higher dimensional beings, which is true, because it does say here. Wrong, humans, we gods exist in a dimension that's beyond your comprehension, which is true. That can't be affected by someone like Vados, which again, the problem is, you're not understanding what Vados is. And even when she could bypass the regeneration never of them. Okay, let's read that. Oh yeah, I remember about this. Yeah, which this is also false. Vados can 100% pass that because of Hakai. Hakai didn't affect Vados. If you watch the scene where Champa and Beerus are fighting, Hakai didn't do anything to them. Anyway, she also had Divine Reflection, which allows her to spam Vados' attacks back at her, which, again, Divine Reflection, which is true, but the problem with this is although she can reflect it back, we have no way on knowing that she can do that at the same level, because otherwise she would have done it to Hades. She can't do that. So, if you're stronger than her, no limits fallacy, put the rest. Gods and Saint Seiya can manipulate causality. Okay, here we go. Oh yeah, the manipulation of causality, which again, causality manipulation is very iffy when it comes to these type of battles. And this is mainly because, you have to really examine what causality means. Anyway, chat. Versus Battle Wiki, who wins? Atari HMB? I don't know, man. The 6th Sense is literally Gold Saint. Yeah. Even if I didn't believe Vados win, I do though. You actually put effort and evidence in your claim, so I will go with your opinion. I appreciate it. Because the thing is, I corrected the guy here. I told him right here, there aren't any hacks in DBZ. I'm going to just ignore you. And post this here. Oh yeah. That such a statement was made, so I will not sit here and elaborate to you on how wrong it is. I'll just let the video speak for me. I mean, I could just go with the Daizenshu 7. You seem to be issuing either a lack of knowledge dealing with incredulity. Doesn't happen in the manga 2 canon sources. This argument fails for 2 reasons. Anime was already considered a canon source, its own continuity. I've expressed that DBZ Kai via Toriyama supervised, as shown in DBS manga, Gregory in the anime. The non-DBS manga, Gregory in the anime, and the flashes back of Vegeta concur, and since it's a continual, yeah, because it appears in Super. Gregory is still in Super, which is an anime-only character. Toriyama already had an interview about that very thing, and this post doesn't specify which version. This isn't 2008, my guy. Canon is irrelevant so long as it's within the confines of the specific continuity, which is licensed, and the anime had scenes added in from Toriyama directly. Gregory, PyCon, Otherworld Tournament, Heaven, Afterlife, Cosmology, which wasn't in the manga until Toyotarou included it in Dragon Ball Super. Like Heaven and Hell, the other pocket, blah, 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 says you missed the part where it said opposite sides of the same coin, implying same size, or the universal size Heaven. Or how about the Kaya Shinron being 1/10 of macrocosm? Source of the scan, because it looks more like a fan. Here is the source. Oh yeah, Hitchhiker, yep. Here's the source. It is from a blog, but it is information organized and based on the Daizenshu 7 and Dragon Ball cosmologies broken down. Yep. It doesn't need to occur in the manga, as supported by the official source of Mirror. Toriyama's map was designed after the manga. Uchu is what Vados says in episode 269. Bulma also describes how trillions of spirits from the universe come into the afterlife, and Dabura himself could not locate Gohan. Dabura was canonically in Heaven 2, as the Daizenshu states. Super Saiyan 2, afterwards he was since, revived, and that was manga base. Daizenshu is mostly manga base. And yes, but you can find supplementary evidence of Toriyama's vision in Daizenshu 7 and Daizenshu 4 here. Yeah, where did I, I got him. I forgot how bad I responded back to this. This scan is speaking about the saints and gods. You honestly think a multi-galactic feat is going to hurt Vados when even Kid Buu can hold back the force of the universe? Oh yeah, I remember I posted that. I wouldn't call it changing the past, more like revisiting choices that were made, which is why it's limited to 3 minutes. So we limit it to 3 minutes because you would assume he has to use his angel powers or create. He explains later he could go back further, but it would just create another time ring. Atari. Yo, what's up, Tyler? I'm glad you was able to make it here. Thank you for stopping by. So guys, as you can see, I don't Gishgala, but let me reply to the scan of the gods living in a different dimension. Could easily be countered by this scan. This is probably my last reply. I'll let the others defend Vados, assuming anyone even do so. And moral transcends the gods too, so I don't know what to tell you. Yeah. All of which fill me with enough power to transcend the very gods. Okay. The key of gods that transcends humanity. And Andre even found the scan that even says the same thing. And I've even shown sources where they said draining energy. 2019 already have done this. Chi is life force, and moral, where have you been? Ultra instinct can dodge life draining. So unless she scales faster than Vados, then there's no point. Whis and Vados already displayed matter manipulation. Even Majin Buu here has, and Daizenshu explains transfiguration. Oh yeah. Soul manipulation doesn't work on beings like Vados, especially when even base Goku has soul erasure resistance. Number 4, already replied to the comment above. Number 5, evidence the term infinitely here is literal. At least some contextual consistency. I mean, when Kefla says her power is infinite, it's backed up by Zamasu's feet, which isn't available anymore. Son Goku's statement as a god, so massive I can't sense a limit to her. Infinite World of Void shaken from UI, whom Kefla was above. She was above first form UI, part 1. And I mean, the Rumus ROF uses the term infinity. Oh yeah, not available when they said Frieza is infinitely stronger. Infinity to what degree? Zamasu infinitely transcends the multiverse, and Kefla stomps him no difficulty. Sorry that supposed infinite-sized realm is not as quantifiable as destroying two separate continuums of universes, where base Goku posts Tournament of Power pinky flicks that world to bits, according to power scaling. Sorry, but none of this warrants a win. It actually shows Athena is more limited than I believed. Until I see she scales above high multiverse tier, I'll stop here until the argument is given a bit more merit and addresses the points discussed earlier. So again, there you go, chat. There's Atari. Yeah, Ares said Mars wasn't even threatening him. Nobody cares about Wank DB. Their time has passed. Everyone knows DB. There is no point in posting nonsense. Go to another forum where people still follow your religion. Then you got, again, Athena one-shots. Says hacks are not abilities, but links to a video that doesn't get past 4,000 views. Vados is weak. Dragon Ball is weak. Like, guys, chat. Yo, chat. Even though this is 4 years ago, just look at the arguments. Look at the arguments. What type of argument is that? Oh, you said hacks are not abilities, but then you link to a video that doesn't get past 4,000 views. So, let me ask you, chat. What the hell does 4,000 views have anything to do with an art? I put a source. Well, it doesn't matter. The video didn't it has less than 4,000 views. So imagine if I say, yo, Joker, can you show me a scan of Void Shiki saying that she is beyond the infinity? And he posts from the exact game and source. Exactly her stating that I'm beyond all concepts of infinity and monolithicology. And then it's like, wow, she's beyond the monolithical infinity. She's universal. And then all of a sudden, somebody's like, yeah, but I don't think Void Shiki's that strong. I mean, the video only has 100 views. Only has 100 views. I mean, Void Shiki's fodder. No, bro, he just posted a scan. Well, it doesn't have over 400 views, so I don't care. Like, that doesn't make any sense. This is literally one of the stupidest arguments I've seen in my life. Like, this is one of the stupidest arguments I've seen. This is baboonerism here. This is like, oh my gosh. This is like, not you. This is not you, bro. Like, this is, you know, like, I think, like, you have to think about it. Like, I mean, like, the video has, like, only 4,000 views. It could be fan-made. Nobody knows about it. So I'm gonna appeal to popularity and just say that it's not valid, okay? Like, it doesn't matter. Like, I actually don't care if you have evidence. I'm just not going to accept it. And you're an idiot. Because I don't agree. I love my Athena. I love my Athena. Nobody's beating her. Leave me alone. I hate you all. I'm going to my mom. I'm telling everyone. I hate you guys. I can't stand any of you. I'm just letting you know that Athena, she's a goddess, okay? I'm going. I hate you all. Like, bro, I know you're not sitting here doing all that smack and you're just gonna be, I just don't accept it. You know, like, I don't accept it. I'm leaving. I'm leaving. I'm out of here. Like, bro. Like, are you serious right now? There are people out there literally dedicating their time to saying, well, you know, like, you know, your argument makes sense, but I don't agree. Why? Because I don't want to. So we at least acknowledge that? No. I'm not going to acknowledge that because I have an ego to lift. And if I admit that I'm wrong, then that means I'm giving you a concession by burden of rejoinder. And I'm not doing that. Okay? So, a burden of rejoinder, something of rejoinder, I forgot what it is when you don't respond back. But then it's like, I'm leaving. You're an idiot. The video has less than 4,000 views. Nobody cares. So the argument's invalid. People are going it needs more views than 400 to be good. Baboon energy, bro. Yeah, this is the exact reason why I don't bother debating or arguing anymore. It's a waste of time. Yeah, exactly. I mean, nowadays, you don't even know if you're arguing with AI at this point. Freaking dead internet now at this point. But like, even back then when the internet wasn't necessarily dead, You still don't know who you're arguing with. I remember one time I was arguing with a kid. I was arguing with someone trying to tell them that, well, this is actually real because if you look at the lighting, and then they still try to pop off. And then you look and you're like, I clicked on his hand, I was like, this is just a 9-year-old brat who's trying to do like cringe cartwheels and talk about Minecraft. I clicked on his channel, I'm like, bro, and this is uploaded like 10 hours ago. Kid, shut up. You're still you're trying to act like you know about math. Shut up. You don't know who you're talking to on the internet at times. This scan is speaking about the saints and gods. Do you honestly think? Let me see. He said useless. If the higher dimension is not shown in the manga to be a higher dimension or infinity or okay, whatever. Appearing in other timeline is far from counting as transcending. If he can appear in another timeline, then how does he get there? Simultaneously. That's like Solaris. Oh, I guess Solaris isn't a superdimensional being. Wait, why isn't he? Because he went to 2 different timelines simultaneously. So he was 2 places at once? Yeah. You do realize each universe is infinite, right? Yeah, so he was in 2 infinities at once. Yeah. Occupying 2 separate space-time continuums. Yeah. Through somehow of a probability space, because 2 space-times existing with 2 different possibilities mean it's in a probability plane, right? I mean, typically in most conventional string theory, axiomatically it would be, for the best explanation. Yeah. What are you, a baboon? Like, dang. That is just spatial intangibility at best. It doesn't constitute as the same. Oh my gosh, this argument. Now his ability is simply to time rewind, and how Beerus not dying in the presence makes him a-casual. Your logic makes no sense. Oh my god, it's like they literally say that's like if I went up to hardcore. What's up, hardcore? By the way, I've seen people literally invent lore to downplay. I know. It's like if I went up and said, "Hey, so guys, Barack Obama was a president in 2008? Yeah, absolutely he was. I don't believe it. Why not? I mean, because that just makes no sense. Why would he be a president in 2008? It was part of the election. Did you not see it? I mean, I know of 2008 we had an election, but I just don't believe Obama was president. Where the hell have you been for the last 8 years at that time? I just don't believe it. Why not? Because it makes no sense. So is this just appeal to ignorance? Like it doesn't make sense to you, so you just don't believe it? Because it's not like you're too shocked to believe it. You just don't want to because you don't get it. I mean, I don't understand politics. Yeah, okay, so it's appeal to ignorance. You calling me like no? Shut up. Shut up. Go to bed. Go back to bed. Goku getting one shot by Frost poison despite him being massively weaker than him. Hello, implying Vados is stronger than Goku, which she isn't. Hacks don't work on characters far stronger than you. Yeah, I said that. And he says, implying Vados is stronger than Goku, which she isn't. Oh my god! Oh! Nope. Oh. I'm leaving the room. Nope. I'm out of here. Nope. ain't, you know. Like, bro, I was I was so done. I got you, Tyler. I got you. I appreciate you staying by though. But like, nah, this was like so bad. Like, are you serious? Oh my god. Implying Vados is stronger than Goku, which he isn't, by the way. Like, oh my gosh, like that's so stupid. That's like saying implying Michael Jordan has more rings than LeBron James, which he doesn't, by the way. Like, what? Like, we need to like make a meme of this, like at this point. Implying Donald Trump is currently president, which he isn't, by the way. My goodness, man. Like, seriously. Who does this? Oh my goodness. Implying YouTube was founded by Chad Hurley, which it wasn't, by the way. Implying Tiger Woods was, you know, a professional golf player, which he wasn't, by the way. Like, oh my gosh, not even Versus Battle will argue that. Like, no, not even Versus Battle is this baboonic. Like, Comic Vines is the place for, like, Comic Vines, yeah, it's a comic vine, all right. Yeah, the vine of the dang jungle with these baboons swinging everywhere. No, I'm sorry, bro, I can't. Hell no. All right. Trump got fake. Yo, Donald Trump is like multi-galaxy level, real low-key. Oh my goodness. Implying Seawalter is salty. Even though... Oh, Enlightened saying that's a good one. Oh my god, that's so good. It's a shame how people take versus battles here. I mean, yeah, like you're supposed to like enjoy it for the most part, but like I don't know. Also, hacks does indeed work in people stronger than the user. It not working is a huge no limits foul. No. Huh? NFL? Wait. Hold on. What did he just say? Okay. It's not huge. Oh my goodness. This dude really said, it not working is a huge no fallacy limits. This bro said you know what? This dude really said NFL. It not working is a low. And we don't accept, like, come on, bro. Like, what the hell is this? A huge NFL. I can't. And we don't accept that as a rule per this forum. Either case, that doesn't exist in Dragon Ball. What are you talking about? My brain! Oh my gosh! I can't with this guy. Like, are we real? Like, did he really say NFL? Oh my goodness. Like, seriously. Anyway. Yeah, he's like giving examples, like hacks can work on people like weak, like if you're weaker. Goku getting one shot by frost poison despite him being massively. Yeah, but that's Goku. And that's also poison. The hack doesn't, like, frost one shot, the poison's stronger than frost. Goku getting one shot by, why do you think frost is if frost was stronger than the poison, why would he even use it? Goku getting one shot by frost with poison despite being massively weaker than him. Like, no, that's not the same example at all. And this is telekinesis and just him stopping Goku's oxygen levels. And telekinesis was always shown to be extremely potent because it's a special hacks. And Goku was in Super Saiyan, And if you recall in the anime, Goku had to use Super Saiyan 2 to scrap against Zamasu, not Super Saiyan 1. So here, given Zamasu's raw power, you can imply this version of Zamasu is strong enough to scrap with this Goku. So that also doesn't work. I can't turn Super Saiyan. Okay, yeah. Moro's magic affecting Vegeta despite Moro being massively weaker. What are you talking about, massively? He literally ate all the energy for. Oh my god. Oh my. I don't think people watch the show. So anyway, look, I broke all this down. Bodied him. And the same thing just kept happening. People would come up with scans. Not sure how it correlates. Zamasu's feet. Not sure how it correlates to infinity. Pretty sure he also doesn't scale the Vados, since it doesn't seem like a key related thing. Especially base Goku Vegeta able to tank his attacks. It's not key related, but he sent a key blast at Goku Vegeta. Oh my gosh. Vados' little complex multiverse, so I would like to see if Dragon Ball can be a single of my axe character. What does that even mean? But it's implied that the Demon Rail is connected to all 12 universes. Yeah, very much so, since they had to specify which universe to go to. But chat, as you could see from the, the torture I put you through and myself, that's why details matter. Details matter because if you're not including the details or understanding the show you're watching, you get stupid answers like that. In most cases scenario, Vados would just teleport behind Athena and just in the back of the neck, and battle would be over. So Athena wouldn't have any time to prepare herself for anything. Vados moves faster than instantaneous movement because Whis dodged instant transmission. So unless Athena shows she can react to instantaneousism, then she ain't happening. And also, like, realistically, like, if you do a Vados versus Athena, the realistic standpoint is that Vados versus Athena really comes down to, like, several factors. First off, Vados, she's going to, when she fights Athena, her personality is just to end it quick. She's probably not going to fight her in most cases and just dodge her. But if she knows it's like a versus battle and she has to fight her, she's a lot more straightforward than even Whis, as she's blown up a planet just by commanding it to blow up. Tapped her wand, said, I command you to blow up, and the planet did as it was asked. Not only did it blow up, it kept blowing up more and more. And after doing that, yeah. So, again, next up, Vados is the type of person to appear behind Athena and just karate chop her in the back of the neck. And that would be it. Jiren already transcended time with his power. Vados is the type of person who would just do the battle like that. She would just go behind her. She has God Ki, so Athena would never sense her in the first place. So you're talking about someone who has no presence. Don't forget there's ki crushing, where you could literally, like, remember what Beerus did to Vegeta? He ki crushed him. So the pressure from Vados, if Vados actually let out her power, probably ki crush Athena. And even if you don't argue that, it would just be an over battle. Demon Realm is also where the microcosms came from. Oh yeah. Hey, what's up, Red Hair? Hello, Jeff. How you doing, man? Welcome to the stream. Thor's Hammer, welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. Thor's Hammer, you came in late, so okay. I see. Welcome though, Thor. Welcome. Stella, welcome. Yeah, we're talking about Athena from Saint Seiya. We're basically talking about why details matter. There was a lot of illogical stuff. Like, somebody was saying that, Athena isn't Goku. Athena. They were saying Vados isn't stronger than Goku. By the way, they were saying that. Not joking. So yeah, we ran into a lot of like crazy stuff today. What's your opinion on Kratos versus Ashura from Death Battles? I don't even have an opinion. If it's Ashura from Ashura's Wrath, Kratos needs to win. And if he doesn't win, I'm gonna scream. Implying the ocean is blue, even though it isn't. Okay, I mean, I get what you mean, but then you're gonna have that one technical geek who says,
Well, the water in the ocean's still technically clear. It's just the coral reefs or the sky makes it blue because of reflection. So, yeah.
but like, I get what you're saying. That's probably something they would respond.
Well, actually,
I got done playing a game on hard mode, extremely difficult after having died 100 times and finished 4 left. That's 20. That's 25 deaths a pop. It posted, not gonna spoil who won. Okay. Athena classic. All right, you're not gonna spoil who won. I bet you Moss is gonna spoil it. Watch. She's gonna be like 5 seconds behind. He's gonna spoil it. Be like, yo, Tari, just so you know, this person went. Like, no, I'm just kidding. Hey, what's up, Stella? How you doing? Athena Classic gets slapped, though. I'm gonna be trying to tell people. You know, Athena Composite is and the only sensei, including in the manga, Heroes of Heroes, has feats like in Heroes. Yeah, like, controversial since Kratos only has statements and Ashura has feats. I know, Ashura has feats, Kratos has statements. It goes back into the whole Yu Yu Hakusho ordeal. It's like, how serious do we take the state? But the thing is, Kratos' statements are confirmed by authors, so I really don't care what anyone else has to say. Like, for example, in my comic book, so for example, in Evi's Son of Levi, let's say, for example, I say, oh, guys, just so you know, Evi is left-handed. And then somebody says, well, we don't actually ever see him use his left hand. Well, I'm the writer, and I didn't put a scene in there for you to see him use it. But he's left-handed. Oh. Well, it doesn't matter. Like, no, shut up. Kratos has confirmed. Atari underestimated. Kratos has confirmed and backed up statements, in the feats in gameplay can add to that, so it doesn't matter. People are still being baboons about it. Oh yeah, of course, baboons. But let's go into another reason why details matter. So here's an example of what I gave. Okay, let's be honest. Let's do a brief introduction of Vegeta. He got access to Super Saiyajin Full Power, Super Saiyajin 2, Super Saiyajin Goto. No, I get it. Daima, he has 3. I didn't see it yet. I know. I heard about it. I'll see it later. Don't spoil more. Super Saiyajin Blue, Super Saiyajin Evolution. Blue. Now, these forms are all powerful, and given full power Super Saiyan is above that grade 3, which is 10 times above grade 1, it's clear this variant is at least 300 times base. Evidence is implied by Vegeta versus Katopesa. Alright. In Pyro, my texture, yeah. Attack potency. Vegeta's attack potency is ridiculous. In his base, he's already able to destroy the Universe 7, which is about the size of the multiverse. Now, the multiverse is hard to quantify, so let's say, for example, more than 1,001 universes due to the afterlife, hitting each other again and again with a power capable of destroying even a universe. Each and every punch from him will have the force equivalent to multiple universes being destroyed at once. Vegeta already has Skyfather physics, minus his lifting strength. But then we have Infinite Zamasu, who took over Universe 7 in a timeline. A timeline is a nexus of all 12 universes within the neutral zone, which eclipse the entire 1 to 12 universes. Axiomatically, it is infinite, because it's infinity containing it. The stars in the background, based on the luminosity and size, are similar to the size of Universe 7 and has a high multiverse plus, which are all contained within the timeline. Something Zamasu took over, which is a low complex multiverse tier. Now, Vegeta by that time, he is Super Saiyajin Blue Evolution, has surpassed even this level of power. Speed, given he scales to Goku Kaioken times 20, which will Kaioken times 10 in short bursts, by the way, bypass temporal speeds of time. It's useless. Time for everyone except for us to stop. Hit can freeze an entire macrocosm, so his freezing time ability exceeds low multiverse level since he killed Goku and had no effect on Jiren, a being who is infinite Zamasu who also transcended. So at his high end speeds, should scale quintillions of times faster than light, arguably infinite speed in short burst. Hacks and techniques. Vegeta has Force Spirit Fission, and I'll be giving this to him for this battle while keeping his anime scaling Broly. As a result, he'd be able to move all fused components, which include solar energy, fusions of any kind, or anything else. Gallic Hope, Gallic Gun, yeah. These are basic key attacks and monstrous multipliers. Of course, with many levels of resistance, these will be the peak along with Hakai, a move that destroys every single atom, subatom, quantum atom, quarks, peons down to absolute nothingness. Now, Superboy Prime and Infinite Crisis plus Final Crisis. Now, Superboy Prime is merely among the most broken variants of Superman I've seen. Let's start off with the post-Guardian Amp. He did torture Mr. Mixie, but Mr. Mixie was weak. But regardless, the fact that he could torture such a powerful entity is impressive. Granted, Mixie was laughing the whole time, so no, Superboy is not above Mixie, but this is still important. Multiverse is about 52 universes. Each universe has a subset of infinite parallel existences. So this is a low complex multiversal threat, arguably mid. Then it goes here. The fifth dimension is imagination, so this is more than just a mere fifth dimensional feat. It is much greater and an interdimensional level attack. Okay? This has to do with cognitivity. The fact that he threatened a monitor is stupidly broken. They may not mention 4D vision, that I recall, but I'd assert that he has it naturally given what he's accomplished. Superboy Prime, and I'm assuming that because in order to even deal with monitors, you got to have that type of vision. But I could be wrong. It could be a nerfed monitor. Anyway, Superboy Prime with his amp was able to defeat Monarch and plus survived a quantum multi-dimensional level blast. Okay, so time doesn't mean doo-doo to Superboy. He's traveled to the source wall and stood on top of it. Which, yeah, that's impressive. Molecular manipulation, quantum manipulation, time hacks to a degree, speed force hacks, higher dimensional attacks. Who would win? Okay, attack potency, Vegeta. Despite Superboy scaling with some of the monitors, it isn't something I'd say is out of his league. He's still inferior to a few other Celestials, but it's still impressive. The fact is, Vegeta's casual punches out Multiverse's structure and base form alone, and is why I'm giving him the win in this category. Speed, Prime. Superboy Prime is consistent in his speed, ability to travel, in combat. Chat, I hope I'm not boring you. And then it says here, given with the amp, he can leave outside of space and time. Vegeta can predict where he pops back into space via his reactionary speed, but the fact Superboy Prime can escape into the Speed Force, which is beyond even hyper time. Yes, we need Time Breaker Vegeta for this because Superboy destroys him in this category. And I mean that because the way the Speed Force behaves, Superboy Prime can just kind of leap into it and be like, alright, I'm going here. Nope. Alright, I'm coming back out. Here we go. Alright, surviving universal multiversal level attacks is something for durability Vegeta could do casually. Your punching power is different than 5 minutes ago. Superboy, however, survived Monarch's explosion, so alone this gives him something to write home about. This category will go in Vegeta's favor, as an exploding universe or a multi-dimensional attack will not knock him out. In existence erasure, though Superboy Prime has it, something like it, but more scary. The retcon. Yeah. Surviving his own unwriting is strange, but given he survived this, I don't know if you would kill him or at least prevent him from coming back. So then we go to this. Vegeta can bypass existence erasure, so he has a way to guard himself from almost every energy variant. This is based on wind condition. If Superboy Time takes Vegeta outside of space, Vegeta dies. Why? I don't know. Dragon Ball sucks, that's why. Yeah, because they gave him the stupidest weakness in the world. But now, this is another dimension. Vegeta has a high chance of simply outpowering Prime. Prime may even be shook by Vegeta's level of raw power. However, given Prime has even once threatened the writers, so he could solo if he wanted to include that feat, which is true. But even without it, he has extra dimensional AP and durability and time manipulation. But Superboy Prime would win normally if he has the Amp of the Guardian. Because Superboy Prime could just take Vegeta outside of space, which is something Superman would do. He would purposely fly you into outer space to resume the battle. Why? Because that's just what they do. He always would do that. So in character, he would just go and fly him out of space. That's typically how the battle would go. Now, technically Vegeta... Now, the reason I say I changed my mind on this, by the way, chat, is because technically Vegeta could just instant transmission. And also, let's just give a quick, and I'm sorry I didn't notice it before, just hardcore, just again, thank you for the $1.99 donation. I will not forget that. Now, again, there you go. The God Key allowing him to breathe is true, but it's also like contradicted because of the whole thing about the Frieza thing. So, and Toriyama clarified they're in the stratosphere with Beerus and Goku when they fought. So, sadly, we still haven't gotten confirmation if they could breathe in space. Even though in Dragon Ball they did, the times they die from the air in space outweighs the times they have breathed in space, sadly. So if we were to do a majority vote, them not breathing in space is what we gotta go with. Superboy Prime will be the type of person that he's like fighting Vegeta and he's getting frustrated. He would try to fly Vegeta into the sun. Vegeta would just be like not able to breathe, and then the battle would end there because Dragon Ball sucks. It's basically the water. It's like space is the ocean, and like every Saiyan has like a devil fruit. That's kind of what it feels like for Dragon Ball. Now, under most circumstances, let me just clarify this: if Vegeta actually like tried, and it was in a different dimension, I'm gonna be honest to you. He 3 shots Superboy Prime in base. So, I mean, it really depends. Realistically speaking, Superboy Prime... I changed my mind about this battle, by the way. I actually could edit this and say Superboy Prime actually gets one-shotted. Because the thing is, what's going to happen is, he's going to tackle Vegeta. And the Vegeta's going to just like, bah! Just punch him in the face. Superboy Prime's going to be hit with like a multiverse level punch and be gushing blood out of his nose. Even with the Guardian Amp. Even with the Guardian Amp. Secondly, the Guardian Amp isn't going to really help in this case because Vegeta's Force Spirit Fission could just literally remove it. So he could take away the Guardian Amp that amped up Superboy Prime because he can remove dualities. In fact, there's actually proof that Vegeta can beat a Cosmic Armor Superman. Yes, chat, I said it. You can clip this too. Atari HB is confirming that Vegeta would lay hands on Cosmic Armor Superman and win. Because Force Spirit Fission would immediately separate Ultraman and Superman, and Vegeta would just beat them both in hand-to-hand combat because they're not stronger than him. They're not. So, granted, although Final Crisis is extremely powerful characters, if Vegeta could just land a single hit on Cosmic Armor, yeah, GG's. And, you know, Vegeta has infinite speed to some degree. Cosmic Armor fights in a place where it's not even tangible, it's memory. But Vegeta can fight in the mental zone, which for those who don't know, the mental plane in Dragon Ball is where they do telekinesis. So, because image training in DBZ, it's an entirely different dimension. So for those of you who don't know, this is it. So again, for those who don't know, image training is literally in its own dimension, and that's been shown numerous times. So because image training takes place, even though Limbo in DC is like a place of memory, like it's like not physical, and it's beyond 4D, Vegeta could react to it. Vegeta has showed that he could survive outside of time because he was holding on the ship, so he could survive. He doesn't need 4D vision because his reaction time is fast enough to react to hits time skip by then, as long as he's in his Super Saiyan Blue state of mind. Thirdly, Vegeta, because of that, Vegeta has the speed to keep up with, in some cases, it depends if you high-end, but like in mid-end wise, Vegeta could actually separate Cosmic Armor Superman and beat him. So Vegeta could actually win that fight, which is why details matter. Can Goku beat? No, Goku cannot beat Cosmic Armor Superman because he has no way to separate him. And Cosmic Armor Superman has some insane hacks. So because Goku doesn't have a way to separate him, Vegeta actually is the kryptonite to Cosmic Armor. I think Invincible had the best approach to the whole space thing. Viltrumites can't breathe in space, but they have great lung capacity. Exactly. I wish they did that with Goku, but yeah. Key allows for higher dimension. Exactly. Cook, Tyler, cook. Tyler's cooking right now. Tyler is cooking right now. Yo. This is Tyler right now, guys. Tyler's cooking. I wish they explored Yardrat more. Their stuff seems OP. I agree. So anyway, as we've seen with that, and I said, but if he drags out the fight, Vegeta wins simply because every second they fight, Vegeta gets a buff. Vegeta 40% in his favor, Superboy Prime 60% in favor. Using all feats Superboy Prime have an almost guaranteed win, but I want to be fair to both. So it'd be 55% in Vegeta's favor and 45% Superboy Prime only due to one factor. Force Spirit Fission would simply separate the Guardian Amp. Perpetual fusions don't matter too. like force spirit fission. So duality. So even if you have like duality to you, it separates it. So he could separate a fusion of people who were designed to be together. Like Kami and Piccolo are designed to be one, and he could still separate them. So to give you guys an idea of what that means, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, for Xenoblade 2. If you didn't play Xenoblade 2, mute this now. I'll give you 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. For those who don't know Numa was actually a character in Xenoblade 2, who's a combination of Pyra and Mithra. Vegeta could literally separate Pyra and Mithra. If he fought Numa, he could just punch her and separate her completely. Even if those two were designed to be together, he could just say, nope, I don't want you two together. So that's what makes it broken. The Odin Force, he could separate the Odin Force from Thor. So there's that. There's so many things he could do. So the Ninetales, Vegeta could separate the Ninetales from Naruto. So even in a stats equalized battle, he could say, nah, get the Ninetales out of here. I'm going to beat the Ninetales' ass by itself. And then Naruto, I'm going to whoop you because you're far weaker now. To some degree. Naruto did technically equalize to Kurama. But you get what I mean. Kurama is more like a, rather than an amp for Naruto, he's like a stamina boost. I mean, he's still an amp, but you get what I mean. Naruto could still fight without him. But, yeah. Same thing for everything. It's incredible. Crollo Lucifer from Hunter x Hunter, how his Nen has the book, Vegeta could just remove all of that and return the Nen back to its original users. Theoretically. Why did higher... Okay, good question from Thor's Hammer. Why do higher dimensions have air in them for saying to breathe? Thor's Hammer, that's a good question, but I think it just has to do with the plot consistency. The writers don't want to do overcomplicated stuff to make it so that they overthink it. Same thing in Samurai Showdown. You'll have the afterlife or other places that outside of space and time, but for some reason outside of space and time allow you to breathe. And most people can argue technicalities like, okay, well there's not enough time, well there's no time, so the time it takes for oxygen to run out of your lungs, or by the time you run out of air, there's no time to measure for you to run out of air. So you're just in a constant state of the present. PETA, leave that fox alone. Simply that Haxie. Asserting Vegeta can simply use the amp for himself. Yeah, Superboy has an issue. However, speed is still Superboy Prime's favor. So that's why I said 55-45 instead of 70-30. Because originally I think this battle was 70-30. Now, bonus, Super Saiyan Ultra Ego. Or just Ultra Ego. This form is beyond Blue Evolution by a long shot, scaling above Broly and Angel Moro as no one in the Universe 7 scales. This would flip the tides arguably, given that if Superboy Prime even damages him once, he'll get stronger along with existence erasure. So Superboy Prime can't even touch him or he'll just erase out of existence. Despite Superboy Prime's prowess, unless Time Trapper is used in this, I don't see him outshining UE Vegeta, given the raw power, destructive hacks alone, and outshine everything Superboy Prime could arguably do. Even moving beyond instant speed won't do anything but make him angrier. Whoa! Ross with a $20! Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. I am so grateful. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful for you. Dang, I just turned into King Julian from Madagascar by accident. Even more beyond instant speed won't do anything to him or make him angry. If you don't attack his vitals like Granola, well, he's not going down. And of course, granted, this is super hypothetical. So again, like Vegeta's he's just gonna pop. If he goes Ultra Ego, you touch him, you're erased. Alright, let's say Superboy Prime doesn't get erased because he would survive, which I said earlier. Granted, though, Vegeta's so much stronger than him, it's not even comparable. Raza wants me to click a photo. Let's take a look at the photo. Oh my goodness. So this is for Atari. Now, to not take away from the attention of the stream, I can't read all of this at once, so I do apologize, Roz. But I can look and scan a couple of it. So we're gonna take a look at some scans. If time had existed beyond the body, Luke could not find it. Now that he was risen out of his physical being, he saw the moments and years were the same. A heartbeat lasted a week. Damn. A lifetime flashed by in an instant. But Luke Skywalker remained a manifestation of Force energy that embodied his essence in both mind and form. And that essence was now more real and tangible than flesh and blood husk he had left floating among the purple-tinged bodies in the makeshift meditation chamber. 5. The skull-faced, given a raspy voice came to Luke from somewhere behind and below. There's no life there. There is no life. There's only the Force. Is a let's see. It was a perversion of the Jedi code, but Luke dutifully repeated the phrase as he exulted, allowing himself to accept it, even to believe it. He did not think that the mind walkers, which was how the station inhabitants referred to themselves, meant the phrase as a mockery or an insult. They were simply expressing the truth of the universe as they saw it, and knew enough about meditation to realize that the precise phrasing of the mantra was the code that unlocked the door to a particular realm of mind. Another year went by, or maybe it was only a second. Luke inhaled slowly, picturing a big yellow 5 in his mind. Like yellow 5, like the stuff they put in like food coloring? No, I'm just joking. Focusing on nothing but that image. You are rising higher, said the H voice of Seek Riontar. The horn-headed Gatal was floating in front of Luke, or perhaps it was. Dang. No, that's insane, and I'm not even done reading it. But of course, for the sake of the stream consistency, I cannot read all of this. We don't want to drone over it. Okay. Red Die 40. Roz, thank you for sharing this, by the way. I do appreciate this. This has definitely opened up my eyes to Star Wars, and I definitely will read more off stream. And again, thank you for the $20 donation. I do appreciate it. I just don't want to get too tracked into that, just because it could be a long read. I'm not the fastest reader. But I would definitely take a look at this. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, chat. Now, bottom line is why details matter is it has to do with this. Like I said, it has to do with characters. It has to do with like what somebody's gonna do. Like, is the character going to actually like? Like, there's a lot. Luke is not beating Goku. Hey man, I don't know. We didn't even finish reading it. Dude was only there for a little bit of time and already was allowing his mind to transcend. Reed Trap is like telling you. Well, obviously not. For the chat. If y'all don't know about the characters, adverse, don't jump to conclusions. Real Luke smokes Goku. Hey, it depends. Legends confirm that. That's interesting. I'm very curious to see. Capsule Goku wins against. So, I mean, again, Moss, we just talked about this. You don't want to really say a character smokes another character without looking at the details, right? So, I mean, if you know Luke is very strong in Legends, then you really want to give like an example that we could run by. Because vaguely saying Luke smokes is kind of doing what comic line people were doing. They were just saying Athena bodies, and it didn't really give any details. So I would say that you want to like clarify what Luke smokes in, why he smokes in there, and what specific specifications like quantifies that. As far as my knowledge goes, Luke doesn't beat Goku at all. Like, not at all. Goku is way stronger in AP. Goku has shown better AP. And, you know, this isn't hacks like the Force. This is like straight up raw AP. Like destroying dimensions that would infinitely scale inaccessible gaps of infinity up to at least 12 to 13 dimensions. Goku has shown the capability of that step by step by step, with guidebook by guidebook by guidebook, with no outliers. And, you know, because of that and his consistency of that level of strength, he has resistance to things that act like the Force based on what he's dealt with. Even if the Force is like an outerversal construct, even if you went with that, he still has access to, you know, dealing with things like that. He even has resistance to some Toon Force. So we would really want to look at it with detail. Because remember, the key topic of this is details matter. But that's what I mean. Now, to answer your question, the Enlightened Saiyan, CC Goku versus Shun'ei, who wins? CC Goku has better showings than Shun'ei. So, Capsule Corp Goku is going to have better showings, a lot more. The series have been running for a long time, and there's more material than what SNK has in that category, as far as like a Mod Podge. Dragon Ball Heroes has just like produced so much crap, along with like a bunch of other like charisma comics, side statements, stickers, promotion material that they add that is canonical to the series. Dragon Ball Fighters. Remember, God Broly is part of the continuity of Heroes. I usually say Heroes isn't really, I say Heroes Goku is like a character who could deal with pretty much almost anyone, and he's usually not versus battle applicable in most cases because the way he functions, because its functionality requires a lot of questioning when you're doing a typical versus battle. What would happen if Boros was in the Star Wars expanded universe? Would he be at the top of the food chain? Heck no. But anyway, I call Legends by its true name, the expanded universe. Oh yeah. Hyperversal Plus in Heroes, I could be wrong. Nah, he's greater than that. If it's canon, that's who I mean. If it's CC Goku, is more challenging if we use Legends. I mean, even canon, I would have to ask questions about... I would have to still ask questions, and, you know, I would have to analyze it. Because, like, you know, before, like, and this is like a conversation. Me and Roz had a conversation about Fairy Tail, right? And the statement was that Fairy Tail had, like, this multiverse type of thing going on. I examined it closely. I looked at the Japanese statements. And Roz doesn't scan, like, Fairy Tales. He was just telling me what he's heard. I looked at the scan closely. Harvada reread the entire manga. We both learned to the conclusion Fairy Tail is just flowery wording. Nobody in Fairy Tail is fifth dimensional multiversal. Or they have a quote-unquote space beyond space-time dimensional hacks, but the void itself is just existing outside of space and time. It doesn't have any contextual meaning to actual AP. So it doesn't really do much. Can it erase you? Well, within the confines of Fairy Tail it could, but it's like something like Bleach. No, it probably wouldn't erase Ichigo, because Ichigo can touch things like the Dangai and exist in it. So because characters can deal with that, Fairy Tail verse can't, but other characters can deal with being outside space-time. So that's really what that argument really would come down to. And again, you can get more technical, but that's what I mean by that. Details matter. Tenchi Muyo cosmology is overrated. It's heavily overrated. It was misinterpreted by Antivisma, and it was interpreted that they had 22 dimensions like boson theory because of supervisors, but that was just a visual cue and never was confirmed. So a lot of it was headcanon. Whoa, sorry. Careful. You just said Goku has a way to deal with outerversal constructs. Careful now. No, Raz. That's true. Because when you say outerversal construct, you could talk about that. Let's talk about that. The world of void, it's not an outerversal construct, right? But the properties of how they're trying to portray it to behave is very complex. Because you could call it a zeroth dimension, right? A zero dimension is I like to call a zero dimension a minus outerversal or interversal, which isn't even it sounds like, oh, that's just a headcanon made up thing. Well, the whole idea is nothing can exist there because it's zero dimensions. There's no space at all. It's nothing. It's just a position in a system. There's no space. There's typically no time there. Now, you could argue that a zero dimension is an outerverse with time. Technically you can, because nothing exists there at all. There's zero space. So there's only time. And because time technically exists there, what can time move? Time doesn't move the space. So the only thing time would govern is beings who step in there, who orchestrate by time. That's why the world of void could theoretically be a zero-dimensional structure. But that's, again, these are you have to go into theoretical things. So a character, and also, like I said, characters moving in an outerverse or dealing with an outerverse doesn't necessarily make them scale to that outerverse. Even the Versus Battle Wiki clarifies that, because you can have a character who's like, okay, this structure acts and orchestrates similar to a full-out outerverse, but nobody can actually destroy it. Oh, he said he'd rule it. That's not destroying. And then you would have to look at other contexts to support it, otherwise it'd just come off as an outlier. This is why I told people the subspace in Dragon Ball, if you say it's beyond the true concept of space and time, then it would just be an outlier, which we're not going to go there. Clearly, it's not. Again, just hope that clarifies what I mean. Well, they give us pretty broken characters. Let's see. It's a life force power that you would spiritually and genetically need to have a permanent connection to. So it's not just someone's. It's not just someone. He meant something anybody could take or get. I mean, again, that's like a life force power that you spiritually and genetically need. That's like chakra. For those who were part of the lineage that ate of the fruit that passed in chakra and a specific Kekkei Genkai, again, it would be the same thing there, right? Nobody could just take or get a Sharingan or a chakra. But there are characters in other fictions who could easily replicate it and manipulate it, even if they don't have a direct correlation to that series. So that's why I say all of these things, details matter. Always. Details matter. Because I 100% can guarantee you that Star Wars Force is not exclusive to Star Wars where another character can't manipulate that form of energy. Especially if we break down the complexities of how that energy is written and confirmed to be, because every property the Force has typically shown, you've seen Ki do the same thing in Dragon Ball in most cases. You've even seen levels of energy and vibrations in DC and Marvel do the same thing. So again, it just depends on how the narrator goes about writing it or expressing it, and it's up to us as Versus Battle Power Scalers to really dive deep into the true contextual meaning and understanding of it to give it an equivalence. And if it has no equivalence, then that makes it unique. But a lot of power systems all have something similar to where they can either manipulate reality, only be accessible to some people, could be genetically, can only be permission, can only be granted from a higher being, like alchemy. Alchemy in Full Metal Alchemist can only be granted by a specific being. I believe they clarify that. And I think that also includes alkahestry, I believe. So like in the same way, it's like, okay, well, yeah, then there's like different ways that power systems work all the time. I doubt that. Boros is so physically powerful, no Jedi or Sith can hope to physically harm him, especially... Nah! I'm gonna disagree with you on that, Thor. I've seen some characters who have literal 4th dimensional and 5th dimensional manipulation and AP. Like straight up from Star Wars. Like, Boros would get Boros will get Kunkand, from what I know. Quick question. I'm reading a webtoon called Ordeal, pretty good opinion. And one character attack is coded a near perfect replica of the sun that had a nuclear. Let's do this again. Let's put that up there. Yeah, that's a nice picture. What's your opinion on this? A near perfect replica of the sun, they said, has a nuclear. A replica, a near perfect replica just could mean that the measurements, the general idea of the temperature due to ratio could be the same, but that doesn't really tell us much more. And if he says it's nuclear reaction to the sun's core, then that's great. But we have to ask ourselves, is the physics accurate? Because it's not about appealing to reality, but it's that if they're going to use real life physics to try to give an example, then it either comes down to writers can't do math and the character still has the power of the sun's core, or perhaps it's not exactly the same but a weaker variant. Kind of like in Yu Yu Hakusho when they say Yusuke has the power of a star in his body, you know? It was stated to be lacking space-time. Super Dragon Ball Heroes Daishinkan solos. Likely. It is infinite emptiness. Yeah. Infinite emptiness. I mean, they said it's without space or time. Like it's eternal. Eternal means no time. So, again, it's all about how you understand the English lexicon. Spirit Circle manga has 28 spatial dimensions. Yeah, and Kata the Right Answer has there he goes. He just mentioned it. There we go. Kata the Right Answer anime has tons of structures. The cosmology structures are 40 dimensional. Yup. Isotrophic dimensions too. And isotropic. But Goku shook it. But he didn't necessarily deal with it. He was still bound to the rule set. Correct. So to clarify that, Roz, Goku shook the World of Void, which is supposed to have nothing in it. So what are we really measuring for the World of Void? The only thing we can really measure for the World of Void is if it has nothing to destroy, per se, or it has a complex infinityism, then we need to understand the only thing we can really equate it to is the only thing we can equate it to is what characters have shown. The Grand Priest has stated that it's a place where you could go all out. So in the Grand Priest's mind, this place is so strong that even a god of destruction can't necessarily destroy it. Or, because he said you could fight to your heart's content and not worry about destroying anything. Even though they warped it and did all of that, gods of destructions, like Licor and the others, fought in it full power and didn't really do anything. They destroyed the arena, but they didn't cause too much damage to the place. And remember, if two gods of destruction even have a fisticuff slap fight, the whole universe gets destroyed. So imagine 3 gods of destruction going all out with the intention of creating as much destructive damage as possible. With the intention, and yet they still didn't destroy it. It means that the World of Void is more durable than the actual cosmology itself, or the timeline, because Zamasu was going to destroy it all, or take over it. Or is at least equal, is what I would like to say. But, yeah. So, does it act like... Does it... See, we need to have a terminology called interversal, bro. that I forgot what they call it. Dimensionless. It's like a form of dimensionless. It's like planar. What is the versus battles definition for that? Let's see. Versus battle tiers. I think it's just called tier 0. Infinitesimal. Yeah. Or low hypoversal. Creating an infinite inferior 0D structure, this tier also includes characters who are vastly below this tier, and all characters beneath this tier, so requirements in any significant way still be in this tier. Characters who require, characters that demonstrate power to destroy, things like that. No dual value available. This tier pertains to a character or objects that can be created, destroyed, or affect the whole structure of a lower dimensional universe or lower layers of levels of reality. Please note that existing as a drawing or being made of data information would not be ranked in this tier. Such a being is still 3-dimensional but an incredibly small amount. Yeah. We get that. Okay, yeah, so I was just reading that to kind of look at that real quick. Let me catch up. Atari, can you check out the DBS manga chapter 26? I don't know if it's true, but I kind of implied that Infinite Zamasu needed a time machine to travel through timelines. Well, he wasn't. No, it kind of implied that. Yes, he did. I know he did because I actually have the physical comic. He said parallel worlds are not the only thing we're going to destroy, and there's a time machine left in the 12th universe. So he actually was going to
No, the 10th universe or 12th universe. So he was actually going to go there and use it, and then bit by bit destroy the parallel worlds. So this either implies he was going to one-shot each macrocosm bit by bit, go to the next timeline, or just one-shot the entire neutral zone and then go to the next parallel world and like literally obliterate every last one of them. Thor, Anakin was using raw strength to battle against Count Dooku, who was using the force of the dark side on the universal level. Instructs against Anakin to try. Yep, exactly. There was more detail, but I couldn't find the rest of it. Yep. Yes, but that isn't to deal with. When you say deal with, it sounds like you're implying they have the power, way to overcome the world of void itself, or control it to some way. Kinda, because we have to think about what Topo did. The problem is that when it comes to feats of zero dimensionality, it gets very interpretative and philosophical. So when it comes to philosophical discussions and versus battles, it can get very messy because you really want to look at how the characters interacted or behaved with it. So can Goku deal with like type of zero dimensional structures? I mean, absolutely. Why wouldn't he be able to, right? We literally seen him. But when he shakes the world of void, we need to compare what is in the world of void. Again, this is a headcanon argument based on what we know about physics. But you can assert that that the dimension has no space, so there's nothing to destroy. And it's at a zero-dimensional level, so you can't destroy anything at all. And the Grand Prix showed that it was a very small in his hand, or maybe that is to his perception, and that he could just invite everyone in there at any time. He could turn it on, change the background if he wants to, or whatever it may be. Or you could just say that the world of void is a big, big structure that doesn't have conventional space-time. You can argue that as well. And at that point, then it would be like, okay, well, then it has space, I suppose. And maybe that's just the best way they could word it at the time. So, a void can be many interpretations. So, like, there's different ways. So let's give an example. Let's say a void space, right? So you got 3 different voids. You got a void which could just be empty, right? So look, bro, this thing. Look at this place. Look at this place, void of anything. Void means lacking of anything. So you can have a void universe, because they even said the universe of Beerus and Goku would turn to a big void if Goku and Beerus destroys it. Universe 7 would just be a big empty void. Everyone would be dead. That's what Elder Kai implies. So that's an empty void, meaning there's nothingness, doesn't exist, which just means it's just empty. You can even argue it's to a 0 or 1 dimensional degree, whatever you want to say. Then you have the King of Fighters. King of Fighters uses void differently, because the way they interpret void is on a spiritual level, which we're talking about no spirits, no thoughts, no mind, no concepts, nothing. So in their case, it comes off very close to outerversalism, because it's like there's no space, there's no time, and the way they treat void in KOF is not like it's empty. They treat it as like a higher state of being, just because the way they talk about like the characters. So like KOF's voids are like way more impressive than Dragon Ball voids in terms of like contextualization and semantical, expression of what they mean by void. You know what I mean? So yeah, hope that clarifies. Void is still below Zeno's Palace in scaling. Yeah. Let me see here. Keep streaming. I'm gonna take a shower. Empty void. I mean, yeah, it sounds like an oxymoron. It's empty and a void. I mean, the void is empty in the first place. But when we say empty void, what I really mean is like, okay, this is a universe. It's void. Void of what? Void of life. Okay, so it has no life. Void of space. Okay. So void needs to be clarified in most contexts. And like with King of Fighters, they kind of clarify that a little bit more than Dragon Ball, in my opinion, at least. You do a video about proving GT Goku is stronger than most people think. I already did. I did a short for it. If you want a longer format video, it might be possible. Empty void is fodder. He meant empty void from One Punch Man. Oh, okay. But But yeah, I mean, let me so yeah. I hope and again, versus battles get very complicated the more you go into them because when you go into deep details, it can get really funky. I do not believe anybody in Star Wars is universal. Okay, Thor, I gotta show you something, my friend. Gotta show you something. Show you. Turn into Fire Marshal Bill. Let me show you something. Don't worry, Thor. You will become a believer. You will become a believer today. All right, here we go. Okay, here we go. What's the point of racing around the galaxy if you're going to have fun? I know how to have fun. If only cities were as easy as to maneuver in as infinite space. Thank you both. Have a good practice. Now, again, this is just a statement. We're getting warmed up, so don't worry. I'm a cook. Next up. The Star Herald leapt across the galaxy. The powerful engines of the prototype shot skipped the endless gulfs of the space, twisted the vessel through the hyperspace lanes with no effort at all. Luke had arrived at his mysterious destination. He hadn't known what to expect. The coordination taken from the droid landers and Navi computer were just the numbers references as standard from the galaxy center. The Star Heralds and data boards was more up to date than one in the Lady Luck, but Luke still found little information about where he was headed, even when he consulted charts from the New Republic intelligence. This truly was the unknown regions, and as soon as the Star Herald snapped back into real space, Luke had a fair idea of just why this particular quadrant was so uncharted. The entire forward view was occupied by the vast red nebula, but unlike anything Luke had seen in his travels far from the static cloud gas. All right, so anyway, we're just going into again layers. We're going into cosmology. We're not done yet. With her belt, Barriss felt sudden energy flow into her pure, raw, vast power. In that moment, she felt transcendent, almost omnipotent. She was simultaneously in her body and out of it, able to sense beyond 3, even 4 dimensions. She's not 4, she beyond 4. So that's 5th dimensional, okay? 5th dimensional. It felt as if she could grasp the fabric of space and time and turn it and twist it any way that suited her. For one blinding instant, she could feel the force as if she had never felt it before in its entirety. So the force is beyond 5th dimensional, and actually it's actually greater than that. But we're warming up. We're warming up. All right. We're warming up. We're just warming up, my friend. Yet a Jedi could still die from a military weapon to average firearm. Hey, I get it. That's not a bad point to be a little bit disappointed about. But Thor, let me give you an example. As much as I 100% agree with you, my friend, let's take a look at this.
It's nothing. I don't think so. Oh, I guess I'm not really one to talk, though, am I? Ouch. Oh, man. Looks like I'm getting a little soft with all this time off.
So we're talking about a character who is literally high complex multiversal, on the verge of his hyperversal arc, low hyperversal, and a bullet grazed him. So again, you gotta have stuff like that. Plus, don't forget, Miras was able to knock out Goku and Vegeta with a stun gun. So it also have to look at the technology of the series, because sometimes the technology can have more intricacies, like quantum mechanics, that allow it to be stronger. Because even in my series, Eternal Kala, despite Monadon being able to destroy galaxies in some cases, you know, there's specific weapons that negate durability or have the ability to manipulate their durability to some degree to allow it to hurt them. You know what I mean? So I hope that clarifies. Different medium? Yeah. Yeah. Next up. You're in a bubble of space-time that is nothing else that can interact with, because each lane is, as far as we can tell, as its own distinct plane of existence. Avar knew and remembered those words every time she traveled in hyperspace. He slipped on a loose flag, nearly falling to his knees with a recovery, and found himself gazing into the infinite kaleidoscope of hyperspace. He was breathing heavily. He realized the sweat was running. A moment later, Nara's X-wing vanished into the infinity of hyperspace, followed by Wedge's access to jump pattern for Deveron. R2, Luke said, Rebel procedure was for each pilot to follow a randomly chosen zigzag path through. Vane would be heading directly to the coordinates where the first X-Wings had gone to hyperspace. Sienna quickly shifted trajectory again into a believable angle for the attack. The stars elongated into an infinite tunnel as he sped. Next up. Darth Vader stood on the bridge of the warship starting out. Okay, let's skip the again. Viewport of the kaleidoscope. Hyperspace, they're talking again. The effect even moving at the relative stately speed of a star destroyer was akin to tumbling down, etc. He knew that he experienced spacers. Now, higher dimensional universe, there was something profoundly wrong about hyperspace, composed as it was more than 3 spatial and 1 temporal dimension that most sentient species were used to. Looking too long into hyperspace promised madness, so the stories went. It goes on further, because these are just there's like 20 different scans here. Outside the universe, there's nothing called hyperspace, and like you could keep going. We're beyond the galaxy, lost somewhere in the void. You know, as the Lord of Beings of the Sorbles, I do say you are lucky, for your sacred symbol has summoned the 4 sea seers of the Cyclops. Their eyes have seen what sits in your theme. Yep, you know, purge and pure. And this could go on and on. You know, it goes on and on and on. A lot. But yeah, I get what you mean. Alright, Warhammer. Especially if they destroy atoms. Hey, Goku versus every X-Men to exist. Who wins? Hardcore, that's really good, but X-Men is gonna win. So the reason X-Men wins is because Rachel, not Jean Grey, but Rachel, I think it was Rachel. Was it Rachel or Jean Grey? It was either Jean Grey or Rachel. But the Phoenix, because the Phoenix, when she awakens, what she did to pre-retcon Beyonder, which was just an avatar of Beyonder, but at the time she displayed so much energy, she overwhelmed Beyonders, like with emotion, of course. But she literally contained every concept of aspect of infinity. So from what I know from the top peak of the Phoenix, if she's at peak, she's going to slaughter Goku. You need Capsule Goku. You need Capsule Goku, Mastered Ultra Instinct, to even fight that type of being. Like, seriously. Like, it's she's literally quite... like, Phoenix is... No.
To help you out.
Ross with the $10... No, hardcore. Thank you for the $1.99 donation. Ross, thank you for the $10 donation. My boy coming too. But I appreciate it. Let's go ahead and take a look. So Roz is going to help me out here. Oh, thank you. I'm definitely going to be reading this. Give me a second here. Let me exit this out. Exit this. Exit this. Exit this. Don't want the computer to be overwhelmed But yeah, to answer your question, because the way racial genre is, they're going to be too much for Goku. Because if the Phoenix Force actually gets like if the Phoenix Force starts popping off, then they're gonna struggle. Because Goku's gonna struggle because first off, she's not worried about breathing in space. The Phoenix Force can find out if Goku breathes in space, can literally use that as a weakness. Or two, even if she doesn't do that, the problem is going to be that you're talking about, and I'm not exaggerating, I use this word scarcely. The Phoenix Force is verbatimly on level with people like the Living Tribunal, who is outerversal, no debate. There's no debating that. It's concrete, the Living Tribunal is outerversal. So you need Capsule Goku to fight her. And then he wins. But other than that, and even Capsule Goku is like questionable because stamina issues. Capsule Goku needs to have all the power-up cards from Beat to make that happen. Because she has no limitation on the stamina. It's insane. It's insane what she can do. Hakai won't work on her. It's stupid. Now, let's see here. Oh, I see prerequisite on Beyond level X-Men. Makes sense then. Yeah, absolutely. Atari, where do you scale Cthulhu mythos? I don't know where Cthulhu... I'd never read Lovecraft, so I'm not sure. Let me not go band for band with Roz. The only real beings I see as universal, multiversal would be mortal beings in Star Wars. It would be Nakash, the father, the shadow, and supreme maker. Outside of them, I simply don't see a Jedi. Capsule Goku is out of... Capsule Goku can have contingency for outerversalism if you use a high end. Because the context is the real world of Beat is something Demigra was even going to go beyond. So if you argue that they could go beyond the narrative itself, then you would be agreeing that, okay, if they can go beyond the narrative, why would they be limited to ad infinityism for space and time? So on a high-end interpretation, that's where I place Capsule Goku. Capsule Goku can hit outerverse level on the high end. Though he uses a three-dimensional representational avatar and body, it doesn't get affected by high-dimensional things. So even though that body is there, he could still sense you, even if you're in a higher dimension. He could know you're there and feel you. Just like Gohan, if you reap his soul, it doesn't work. If you try to kill him, a Hakai, it doesn't work. So it's because he has all these defensive mechanisms and even can absorb Super Shenron. Yeah. It's not unreasonable to say that. Now, when I say outerversal, do I mean like true outerversal? I mean false outerversal. Whereas in like he's there, but like the outerversals at that level have their own rank. And again, I'd prefer to say Aleph Null or Aleph 1 or Aleph 2 because the Beats World and the DBZ fighters, they all have like real world components. There's like 3 real world components. There's the movie, Universal Studios, God Fusion Broly movie. There's the Beats World, and then there's Dragon Ball Fighters with the E machine thingy. And then there's Raleigh's feats and stuff that actually scale to that. So if you want to go there, you could say 4th level real world. So that I'd say probably Aleph 1, Aleph 2, Aleph 3, whatever you want to say. But outerversal becomes difficult because then again, it's beyond measurement. So it's like, oh, Goku still has multipliers, even though those multipliers go to higher infinities. Because Super Saiyan God is an infinite multiplier in Xenoverse. Man, it gets crazy. So the Jedi can manipulate the Force in a universal level as they are connected to it, and the Force itself allows to cross. Interesting. All right, warm up. I mean, I just nuke general power scales with scans and books. It's got done warm up training in the server. All right, but you better not have Gish gallop these. You better give proper guidance on how to follow it, because when you see my power scaling, everyone can follow it when I do it. So Moss, I'm telling you, when I do my cosmology list, I make sure everyone can comprehensively follow it. It's straightforward. If I see a bunch of scans and they're not showing exactly the purpose or the premise, I am going to arcade. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, though, let's see. Oh, yeah. I know some of these scans. Yeah, I have some of these. These are actually the ones I was referring to. Anyway. Random question, sorry. Have you heard of Date a Live? And if you did, where do you scale it? Good question. Don't challenge me on this store. Roz, yet you don't see Jedi doing. Hey, there's nothing wrong with a little challenge once in a while. I like that. This is how we improve our ability and knowledge. You know, Thor is challenging your argument, and Roz, your due diligence is to educate the brother and say, okay, you disagree with this, and let me show you why I disagree with your disagreement, because here's what I know. You know, it's healthy discussion. It's great. I love it. Now let's go with this real quick. With her, let me spice up the voicing. With her next breath, Barris felt a sudden energy flow into her pure, raw, vast power. In that moment, she'd felt transcendent, almost omnipotent. She was simultaneously in her body and out of it, almost able to see beyond 3, even 4 dimensions. It felt as if she could grasp the fabric of space and time and turn it and twist it any way that suited her. For one blinding instant, she could feel the force that she had never felt, that she had never done before in its eternity. The Force. The supreme binding energy of the Star Wars cosmology. The Force exists beyond all mathematics and reason, as well as all concepts that you or I can name, existing completely beyond explanation. It is no wonder that most people cannot accurately describe the Force, as it is just a mere shadow of its true nature. It is all things transcending itself so many times that it is impossible for us, the wills, to accurately picture it. All right, so this is what I'm talking about. So in the context of the Force, I'm glad I said that earlier. The Force is, like, by this context, there are 2 ways to, there are low end, mid end, and high. So let's go with the low end. All right, so here we go. We're gonna do low end. Okay, we're doing low end, yay. Okay, so low end, here's what we got. So low end, it's going to be the supreme binding energy of the Star Wars. So the Force exists beyond all mathematics and reason. Okay, as far as we're concerned, all mathematics has to do with mathematics and reason. Reasoning has to do with logic. Mathematics has to do with measurements. So if it's beyond all mathematics and measurements, you could just say, okay, all levels of measurement, so it's infinite in this context. This is the low end, as well as all concepts that you and I can name or that exist. Okay, so certain concepts that do exist, like ideas that you and I can name, ideas are limited to the 3-dimensional aspect. As 4D concepts or 4D ideas, because of new possibilities, are also on a different level. So because we get confirmation that it says at least beyond 4D in the prior scan, the highest we could assert this would be 5th dimensional concepts, because you can't just assume it goes higher, right? Now, or I can name existing completely beyond explanation. So what he can name, but again, if this person who made this only talks about the 5th dimension in the story or literature and doesn't go higher exclusively, then this will be where our stopping point is, right? It is no wonder that most people cannot accurately describe it. Okay, that's just indescribable force or a very complex system, as it is just a mere shadow of its true nature, transcending itself so many times, it's impossible for us. It's impossible even us. That so many times that it's impossible for even us, the wills, to accurately picture it. Okay, so they don't accurately picture it. Who are the wills, right? So when you look at it like that, it's like, okay, so these guys don't know how to picture it. It transcends itself many times. All right, so it could just literally be 6-dimensional or greater, but there's no specific number. So on the low end,
Low end, remember, the purpose of low end scaling is you don't want to assume. You want to take everything unless it is very, 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 very specific. Now, mid end, I would say mid end, this would scale to, all right, so let's see again. The supreme binding energy of the soul. Okay, so it's energy. The next part is the force beyond all mathematics. So when you say all mathematics, I'm thinking beyond all mathematics. Mathematics includes concepts such as Cantor. When we're talking about Cantor, Cantor talks about infinity. This includes Aleph 0, Aleph null, Aleph 1, Aleph null, Aleph 1, Aleph 2, Aleph 3, Omega 1, Omega plus 1, Omega plus 2. Beyond all of that in logic and reasoning. So even numbers that don't mathematically work out, such as axioms and other different constructions, also are part of this structure, as well as all concepts that you or I can name. So this, of course, is subjective to what you know or I know, whoever this is dedicated to. If this is the author making this statement, then this can be very huge. If this is a character talking to another character, then we limit it to what the character knows. Existing completely beyond explanation, which again just means it's hard to explain. People cannot accurately describe it. Okay, that's fine. It's a mere shadow of its true nature, so just a reflection. It's not even really its true nature. So like what you think is the true force, the force goes even greater. It transcends itself so many times that it's impossible for even us, the wills, to accurately picture it. So then the question comes down to, okay, if this is a character talking to a character, mid-end, it's best to say that so many times, many is about, so look, a couple is 2, a few is 3, several is 4. No, sorry, I think several is 3, and then a few is like 3 to 4. And then many is about a big, large number. So typically it's 5 to 6. So let's say it's 5 to 6 infinities greater than what we learned about the 5th dimension. So about, 6 is like 5 and 6 is like 11. So roughly low, high complex to low hyperversal if you want to go there. That is a more accurate, and that is a very accurate point you can go with if this is character to character, because you don't assume, because another character saying beyond what I understand, I'm like, I don't know what you understand. What do you understand? Mathematics? I don't care. That doesn't tell me anything. Mathematics don't even exist. It's superstring theory. Math doesn't even work in the 10th dimension. So again, if you really, 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 really dig into the nitty gritty, this is, again, we don't want to assume. All right, lastly, thanks for clarifying, Moss. But if George Lucas said that the authority for it, I still am going to challenge it to some degree, because remember, Featherin is also the author of Umineko to some degree, or the authority of it. The authority doesn't necessarily tell us how much greater they are. The authority doesn't tell us much. It just tells us, okay, they hold a certain position in that system. Unless it's specifically stated that they are the writer of the entire concept of the cosmology, that's something we have to factor in. When you say all concepts and subject to what this person knows, because he's comparing it to his ability of what he knows and that it's beyond him. So whoever this is beyond is either a being who's they're not even tier 0, clearly. So in that context, yeah.
This was done by a mortal character via a ritual that took prep. But later in the could repeat the feat without a ritual. He could just will it later on. A threat to the force.
Roz, I so much appreciate the $20 donation. You are incredible. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yo, chat, can we get some fires? Can we get some fires in the chat for Roz? Woo! Let's go. Dang, man. I'm about to be like that video. We're not rich. We're broke. No, just kidding. Thank you. Unbounded source of power for the verse to revolve around. Yeah. It's not the same as Featherin. He states that whatever he does indirectly states himself. The wills are, in fact, the writer of the entire concepts of the story and say so as he speaks through them. It basically how Gan makes Stephen King write the stories of his verse. Again, if they are the writers of the story, is in fact the one who writes all the concepts. So again, it doesn't matter, Joker, because if he writes all the concepts, that just means that there's still a concept he hasn't written, because all variable concepts that this character can or can't write has not been established. So unless there's a very specific reason of where his position is is stated to be something like Jack Kirby and like Marvel, then we can't give him the same authority as Jack Kirby and Marvel on a mid-end scale or a mid-end interpretation, because the whole idea is to get information. And given that this argument can be challenged, it's why I'm going with the mid-end for this assumption, because in this assessment, because if you're going to be addressing a story like this and you say there are things beyond concepts that you're responsible for writing, then that just tells us there's a limitation to the concepts, and that the force or the source material is beyond you. So this individual is below the force. By how much? Well, it's based on what this individual has shown or is able to do. So even if they're in a writing position, like I said, and I'm still correct on this, like Featherin, that is a fact. Just like Featherin has a writer's authority over the Umineko verse. She literally told Lambda Delta, this is what's going to happen. You're going to hit me. This is what's going to happen. You're going to hit me. You're going to fail. You're going to crash into the wall. Even though that's illogical, you're still going to crash into the wall. All your limbs are going to randomly fall off. And then you're going to lose as a hero. Okay, press play. She literally writes the story, could write every dimension, everything else in there, but it's limited to what Featherin has shown that she's able to do, unless specified otherwise through some form of extreme example. So that's why I'm going with that part. Okay? I mean, Legends isn't in George Lucas's hands anymore legally, because, yeah, I know that already, but... Hey, thanks for coming through, Entitled Sand. Do appreciate that. Entitled. Enlightened Sand. My eyes are like blurry. Appreciate you for stopping by, and thanks again for the support. But even with that, what I'm referring to is that wills are below the force because they state that it already is a power above them, because it's a power created by stinger beings who are omnipotent. Okay, and yes, there are literal omnipotent beings that transcend the wills and the force. That's great. But again, omnipotent is a statement that we never take literal unless you have very specific claims and statements that back it up with a comparable scale. Because how Ashikuro is called omnipotent in every way in the story of Shaman King, but clearly that's based on the cosmology, the structure of Shaman King. So again, like I said, on a mid-end level, this is where we would generally kind of look at this here. So in my opinion, for the mid-end level, I would say if it's based on Will's comprehension in mathematics, it can either be up to the superstring theory mathematical procedure of 10th dimensional, or if it's beyond general mathematics that we usually do, then that would make it beyond something around, you could say, just up to the general infinity that we mostly know. So hyperverse plus, right? So between 10 to hyperverse plus, because it's hard to really interpret the whole beyond mathematics, because mathematics itself is a very complex subject when you get into it, because it's based on subjectivity. Because my understanding of mathematics, I could get this to crazy heights, but the understanding of mathematics to somebody else who's interpreting this could be different, right? And I'm going to look at Roz's scan soon. Hold on. Let me see here. Let me see here. Let me see here. I mean, it doesn't matter what they created, Moss, because you have to realize at the end of the day, the argument isn't what they allow them to do. The argument is what character is talking, what's the character's capability, what does math mean to them, and under their interpretation and what we've seen in the series, what has been stated. You see, with Marvel, there's no room for misinterpreting it, because Marvel specifically says it doesn't say the universe is beyond mathematics alone. See, that's a very vague statement, which leads room to interpretation. Marvel says specifically that it is like Cantor's infinity exactly, and is transfinite exactly as the Cantor's infinity theory states, which we're talking to the monolithical infinity. So Aleph null, aleph 1, aleph 2, aleph 3, aleph 4. We are told specifically it scales to that. So in the context of what I'm reading now from my limitation, because you got to remember, I'm only reading this, that is why that interpretation of what I'm telling you is valid. Otherwise, there needs to be more backed up scans and feats. Like if you have, say, oh, here's Will's saying that there are infinite spatial dimensions, and it's like, okay, so the mathematics according to him is XYZ, let's up the ante. So for the mid-end, like I said, generally 10 to infinite dimensional is kind of the scope we can go with here for now, because infinity transcends mathematics in most places. It breaks math because you can't really do math with basic infinity functions, even with bijection or surjection. That's just comparing it, but you're not actually doing math with it because you're having inserting set theory, and it gets even deeper than that, right? Now, what I mean, that's just mid-end. So you're getting between 10 to infinite dimensional and mid-end from just this one scan. And again, this is why it's important you guys write notes, because when it comes to dimensional tiering, I see a lot of people like, they could take a scan, and scans can be interpreted so many ways. But the higher the dimensional tiering goes, the more speculative you got to be about it. You got to be like, let me read further into that. Because you don't want to, because once you get high up there, you ain't coming down. It's hard. Well, you can, but it's hard to come down. Now, high-end interpretation. Here's my high-end interpretation about this. The supreme binding energy, the force is the supreme binding energy of the Star Wars cosmology. Okay, so binding, the force that contains everything in it. Okay, binding, contain. The force exists beyond all mathematics. So if we're taking this to the utmost literality of that, then mathematics, if you're beyond mathematics, you have to be at infinity, which means, because infinity is a concept, it's not math. But being that, you could be infinite, and you can use the unreachable cardinal. You could say the monolithical infinity, which it's likely not monolithical infinity because whoever this is still is below it, right? But you could argue it. But in that case, if you're saying that in any reasoning, that means any form of logic or higher levels of logic, higher levels of concepts. It says all concepts that you or I can name. So we're talking Platonic. Okay, so love, faith, things that aren't tangible at all, time, space, existence, because existence is a concept, non-existence is a concept. So for me, in the higher end interpretation of this, I would say if you're taking everything, like if that's like a literal, like all concepts, bro, then bro, this is probably the most incredible thing I've ever seen. Like, no, it's like it gets insane. Yo, move out the way, bro. Like, we don't need you here. Bring Wank Willie here. Where's Wank Willie? Here I am, guys. No, but like in all seriousness, this is you can get out of here because this isn't even Wank. It's no wonder that most people cannot accurately describe the Force, as it is just a mere shadow of its true nature. It is all things. Okay, so if it's all things, again, that kind of reinforces beyond concepts, beyond math, beyond logic, transcending itself, meaning that it's ever growingly infinity beyond infinity, beyond infinity, beyond infinity, beyond infinity, beyond infinity. So many times it's impossible for us wills to accurately picture it. So somebody who's supposed to be at the apex of the series, right, responsible for cosmology in that context, you would say this is definitely something that would be in like the epsilon null versal or just plain up outer versal, because if it's beyond mathematics, it should be beyond measurement. There's no way to measure something that's beyond mathematics in Platonic concept. So in that case, that's where I would say this is like straight up outer versal. That is, without a doubt, outer versal. And that, chat, is what an outer versal structure. This, God dang it. This is how you describe, come on, get closer. Oh my gosh. Yeah, open this in a new tab. This is how you describe an outer verse. this is how you would describe an outerverse. I went with the middle ground because the mid end is using any evidence you have. So mid end, I go with, hey, mathematics. If you're beyond mathematics in a general sense, that means you're infinity, because you can't divide by infinity, you can't minus by infinity, you can't add infinity and you're just gonna get infinity. You can't subtract infinity. It's a state of being that you reach that can never be taken down. So infinity goes beyond math. So if we go with that, then I would say, okay, beyond that. So that's why I didn't say outerversal immediately. Now, if you go with the higher end interpretation, the higher end asserts, okay, if it says it is all things transcending itself, that's a continuous transcendency. That is so much that it's impossible to know. And these are wills, and wills are able to interpret infinity all the time. So if it's beyond the interpretation of infinity for the wills, then it's beyond interpretation of measurement. So that means it's outerversal by that context, because it's beyond math. In the higher end interpretation of being beyond math, that just means that you simply can't, well, you know, you get the point. You get the point. So Moss, I'm just reading this scan. Let's go to Roz's scan real quick. Steel mute Scourge followed her down the shuttle. There wasn't even a wind or air resistance. Scourge has been all temperature. You feel the shuttle. The force energy. It gives heat to our emotions, our minds. But here has been stripped away. She let us. Yup. Yep. The droids, he asked. The ritual overload, the circuits nearest explained. Hollow wash, the damage, parables, scorching. The sun shining down. Everything's, yep. He had no trouble understanding the mask. Death destroy, unleashed powers. The Emperor had consumed every life color, every life sound color, even the force, nothing remained. This wasn't about the Conqueror's dominion or destroying an enemy. All concepts Scourge embraced. Dang, the concept of color is crazy. Because that's life, the force, like if you can take the concept, god dang. All right, everything in Athena has simply been snuffed out. Okay. Out extinguished so completely that it ceased to have any meaning or purpose. It was a vacuum of existence, a blight of natural order. So, on the natural order, okay, I've seen enough. Declared. Destroying your enemies, even destroying a planet, was understandable. But this wasn't simple destruction. It was annihilation, obliteration. The very fabric of the force had been shredded. What? You're telling me he shredded? It must have been the lower... well, the force has different layers. So they're like different infinities of the force. But anyway, anyone capable of turning an entire planet into a nihilistic abomination had to be completely mad after seeing the horrors of Nathema. He truly believed the Emperor might declare war against the Republic, choosing them to the Jedi and leading to eventual extinction of their species. By the time they reached the shuttle, Scourge's stomach was churning. He had lived his whole life attuned to the Force, having it stripped away and left him physically ill. The shuttles, okay, yeah. Mm-hmm. As it broke the atmosphere to crush the world, yeah. Symbol. At the same time, he also felt something, the presence of someone strong in the Force. Someone who was neither Nerys nor him. Nerys suddenly began punching away at the shuttle controls, scanning the system for another vessel. And Scourge felt, she felt it too. Yep. A ship dropped out of hyperspace in the system. Well, see, I would like this more if they didn't make a planetary comparison. Because it's like if they shattered the Force, I would imagine I would imagine it's on a universal scale, but of the Force, because they compared a planet. But I could be wrong. It could have been world. Who knows? But let's see. Hopefully there's some clarification, because I am skimming through it. Scourge realized that he had two options. The first was to make a quick jump to hyperspace in an effort to escape before being noticed. Okay. Is this in the server where I posted them? Well, I did check out a majority of them. Yeah. In its entirety, fears this same guy. The Force itself believe he can destroy it all of its layers because he became a void that threatens it. Hey, all I gotta do is just say highlight it. You know, like things you wanna. Here's the thing. There are scans later on that go into further detail. I appreciate you guys always. Thank you so much, Ross, for the support. And here's my and this is just constructive criticism, guys. And this goes for everyone in the stream. When you see me do like any type of scan, typically I highlight the main focal point. You know, you can get a lot of overwhelming scans, but the key thing is you want to highlight, you want to source them, always source them, and then you want to highlight the key component. So bring it into MS Paint or on your phone and just circle the main part you want them to read. They could read the rest if they want, but circle the highlight key in case you want me to read it. Because if I'm going to read it, I'm not ready to invest all the time into reading like several pages on live stream. Because, and again, to some viewers, this might not be the most fun to some viewers. So I want to keep it like simple. So if you could just show the scan, I would really appreciate it. Like with this, when I got this, I highlighted Toriyama's name, so it's easier for me to find and say, look, however, since Toriyama, blah, 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 Akira Toriyama cut, I highlighted Toriyama's name so that people know. That's why when you see Drip Sauce or anyone else post the scans that I did on Amino, you'll notice all the scans that had those points were always highlighted. So you guys did a great job providing the scans and bringing them to the table. Now people are going to give Star Wars more respect than they ever did before. But I just say if you guys have a lot of scans, I would say just try to highlight the main focal point so that way we'll have more time to go through the rest. Because if I can go through the scan and find the point you're talking about with the context intact, then I can look into it and then I can read it live and then we can go into like more. Then I can like read more on stream in a quicker succession. Because I'm an absorber, so I absorb what I read and retain it really well, but I don't read super duper fast. But I appreciate that. We can't post links. Well. We'll have to do something about that. Well, if you can. We can't put. Let's see here. I just don't believe in high dimensional scaling for the characters. Me neither, Tyler. Hey guys, it happens. Sometimes when new information like this is presented to you, incredulity kicks in. Incredulity can sometimes be a subconscious, unintentional bias that your brain or your psychological psyche creates. Because most of the information you obtain or what you've believed in kind of just got thrown out the window because it just seems so odd. For example, if somebody who's casual, let's talk about my buddy Craftus here. He played Kingdom Hearts. So to him, Kingdom Hearts is like a very simple, straightforward story. He gets the idea of what they're conveying. But if I were to told him, hey, in a more deeper detail, what if I told you, so, like, for example, let's talk about Sonic. If I tell him, hey, Craftus, Sonic is faster than the speed of light. He's going to look at me like, not really, only in Supersonic, which is true. Canonically, Sonic Team intended him to be faster than light in Super. He's faster than the speed of sound in base. That was the intention of his character design. So Craftus is not like a deep power scaler. And again, Harvado said it best. Power scaling does not care about what the narrator says all the time. They care about looking at the mathematics and information and how to break it down in a versus battle setting. So in most cases where Craftus is right, narrative and lore wise, Sonic is just intended to be the speed of sound, guys. There has been moments where he said light speed is slow. There has been moments where they said he surpassed the light barrier. And they said in interviews, Sonic has passed the light barrier a few times. So depending on the continuity of Sonic, that will interpret how fast that version of Sonic is or how fast he wants to be. Because it's kind of like a Marvel thing where it's like, well, I made him as strong as he needs to be for the story. I made him as fast as he needs to be for the game. He needs to outrun Time Eater, so I made him faster than time. Oh, okay. So that's the thing. Because in other games, you notice he's not that fast. So again, that's the thing with video games. So again, that's important. So I get you. But so all this info, you still refuse? All right, that's fine. Not gonna push any further for now. Yeah. The force can hurt on a local level every time a planet is destroyed. Crest echoes and some. Hey, I get where you guys are coming from, but at the end of the day, this is like no different from Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball has a statement, and I'll pull it up, and people will say, "Well, I don't think that." Now, Dragon Ball is a little bit more explainable because, like Dragon Ball, you see them blow up planets and galaxies, so you kind of can't deny it when you see Goku and Beerus shaking the universe. You visually see it. I've said it before. Dragon Ball is the best with visual. Star Wars, however, these are things that aren't visually seen. So if we're gonna look at it from that perspective, you gotta treat it like Yu Yu Hakusho, where there are statements that are going to be made and described in deep detail, and you have to look at the clues. So clearly, like it's very clear. Like there are characters out there who can destroy universes, and we literally just got a scan of them explaining. Like there's no denying like the scan we got. They literally explain how she can grasp space, twist it and turn it on a fifth dimensional level. There's nothing you could say to deny that. So not believing this scan is a form of incredulity, which basically is saying that's too crazy to believe. And I get it, because it's like, hey, I watched this series Star Wars for a while, and like everything is really low level. It's like God of War. It's like God of War, Kratos has some feats, but like compared to the lore, his feats are crap. It's like his lore feats are incredible, but his in-game feats are like, bro, are you for real? So when people hear that Kratos is actually this freaking low hyperversal being, then they're like, huh? Low hyperversal to even some will argue outerversal if you really, really want a high end. And it's like, bro, what? How? Like in the game, he can't even open a treasure chest. Like, or it's like, but in these cutscenes, it seems weird. It's like, bro, because even in Sun Wukong, there's like nothing super crazy going on. They're not like tossing galaxies like Tango Tompa Gurren Lagann. It's nothing crazy like that's happening. So when you look into the lore, that's where you have to do your research and understand, okay, yeah, I got to let go of my incredulity and just look at the lore, because the lore is going to give me like a more clear understanding that they visually couldn't represent in any of the source material. Because that happens. You'll have a character who could do some crazy stuff, but the source material doesn't really ever show it. So you never get a chance to really picture it. Like Dante could fight Mundus, who could destroy an entire universe or create one and destroy it at the same time. Guess what? And Argosax, who's even stronger. It's like, guess what? He bodies them and he's like all casual, like bingo. Or like, sorry, jackpot. Like, this dude's bodying these universal level beings. And then you're like, well, they really don't show Dante doing universal level stuff in gameplay. I'm like, yeah, of course not. Or in the cutscenes. Yeah, of course not. That's what they do. It's called the low ends and the highlights. That's why when it's in lore on paper, it's easier to do that because it doesn't take away from the experience. We got to remember, these writers are trying to keep you in the experience. Hey, Goku does 10 times gravity. Well, Toriyama, how much more gravity will he improve for his training? Let's just make it 100. It's an easy number. So you went from 10 to 100. Everyone can grasp that. If Toriyama said, he went from 10 times to 550,000 times gravity, they're like, that's a big number with too many zeros. I don't get it. So they really can't wrap their head around it. But if you say 10 times, that sounds like a lot, So that's going to happen. I got a question. Why is Luffy considered a small planetary? Isn't he higher due to the fact that OP versus Legit has continents in the very ocean itself and Alabasta? Red hair. I love your question.
Yoatari.
DFR with the 10 pounds. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That really means a lot. What the heck? Wow. Thank you so much. But those aren't pounds, those are euros. Am I stupid? Did I just say 10 pounds? Well, thank you for the 10 euros. Really appreciate that. I can't believe I called those pounds. Thank you for the 10 euros. I appreciate that, DFR. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yo, fires in the chat for DFR. Do appreciate that. You guys are coming through with so much support. It really means a lot to me. It's gonna really allow me to keep doing this full time at some point. And I love to see that day. But let's see. Well, good question. So Halo Jeff, we're about to end the stream soon, but just to answer your question real quick, yeah, you're right. Like Luffy should be higher. I think like on like his strongest attack would be large planet. Yeah, his strongest attack would be large planet because the One Piece planet is the size of the sun. So his strongest attack would be at least large planet, since he would be able to surface level wipe the planet, or at least he should scale relative to that. Because, spoiler alert, in the movie Red, Tots Musica was supposed to be able to destroy the world, and Gear 5 Luffy and Shanks was able to scale to that, and that doesn't contradict Big Mom and Kaido being relative to a sick Whitebeard who literally caused a quake that went around the planet. So a star-sized planet, that's literally like that's low-end large planetary through calcs, but that still shows large planetary. So Luffy's strongest attack should be large planetary. However, a casual punch from Luffy should be small planetary. So that's why I say he's small planetary every time he punches you. Because at Gear 5, in AP, attack potency, that should be where it scales. Luffy is large planetary and multiple. Yeah. Massively fast and light. Exactly, Tyler. Yep. He is. For sure. But yo, DFR, how you doing, man? All right, guys. So overall, what did we learn today? So let's recap. We learned that effort matters and details matter. Versus battle characters are not going to just do a fight straight up and then that's the end of the fight. Context clues matter. So, like, for example, you want to know the most deadliest person in any versus battle? I'll show you. I'll show you guys. Who's the deadliest Dragon Ball character in a versus battle? You guys want to know the most deadliest character in a Dragon Ball versus battle? Chat. Before I go, who can answer? Who's the deadliest Dragon Ball character in a versus battle? Who? Let's see if you can name it. You guys can name him or her. You guys win the internet. Hit. Close. Hit is one of them. But that's not quite it.
Where do you scale Ichigo?
Hey, DFR with the second €5 donation. Really appreciate that. If we were to talk about Ichigo, I personally scale 3 types of Ichigos. Low end, I have Ichigo at moon. At low end, I have Ichigo at least a solid planet buster. Okay? Mid-end, I have Ichigo at a mid-end, I have Ichigo around, in my honest opinion, no wank, just straight up. I personally think he's solar system tier. Multi-solar system. Because the way the energy behaves. Now, high-end, I have him at low multiverse level. Because the universal meta is getting more intense. Unohana and Kenpachi fighting in the Muken, like there's so much that could support that. So that's where I kind of scale him at. So I have 3 tiers for him. Granola, yes! Moss, I love you, bro. I love you. Combat tactics would be Moro. I appreciate it, but Moro's cocky. That's the problem with him. He's cocky. Yo, that's it. That's who I had up here. That's your boy.
That's your boy.
He is the most deadliest
Dragon Ball character of all time. Like, I don't care what anyone says. Okay, I kind of care what you guys say. I mean, love you, chat, but a closed off jail, though. It's not a universe, just a closed off suit. It's closed off, but Halo Jeff, how big is it? Finish the sentence. Finish the sentence. How big is the Mugen? How big is it? Because it's a separate dimension or a separate place in the Soul Society. Right in the Sekirei. Sekirei, what am I saying? You know what I meant. We don't know how big. What? You don't know how big it is? Yeah, we do. Oh, yeah, we do. We know in the anime and the manga. Oh, yeah, we know in the anime and the manga how big it is. We know how big it is. How many people in the chat know how big it is? I'll pull that fight right up. Hold up. I'll pull that fight right up. I'll pull that whole behind fight up. Right now. Here we go. Lowest level. How big is it? Dang, you know, that ain't anime exclusive. And when you have big high tiers shaking the when you have Senjumaru, a stronger character like Senjumaru, causing 3 different planes of existence to well, not planes of existence, but 3 different places to shake, and they're separated by space-time because the Dangai has different space-time. Dangai was shaking. They're in a different place. All the way up, Soul Society shook, and Earth felt her spiritual pressure. And that was because her spiritual pressure was suppressed. Yup, you're right, Stella. Manga says the same. Oh, no, I got you, Halo Jeff, but the manga says the same thing, bro. I ain't gonna pull your leg. I promise you I wouldn't do that. I promise you, I would not do that. Here we go. I got you. Watch this. Here you go. All right, so for those who don't know, most people say the translation, like, so here's the thing. If you look this up, it's going to say almost infinitely large, right? Or nearly. Here. The problem is the raw says, let's pull up the equivalent to it. Let's go to Let's go to a more accurate website like DeepL. This would be good. And let's take the Japanese statement. As wide as the sound of it is infinite. And then we can look at a different transliteration from Jisho. Says the same thing. And what does she say? She says that, and this is the as it sounds. So she says that's like it sounds of, which is no here. So suno, is that suno? I think that's suno. Yes, so no, yup, and then it says here, no, and then like, Mugen in infinitely, eternity, and then here is equal, the same. So as it sounds, it is equal to that of infinity. Okay? The area and dimension and size. So she's saying specifically the area, dimension, and size. It carries on, because this is word is possess or have. So it possesses the properties of infinity or is equal to that of infinity. That's what the Raw says. Not the English translation from Viz. So that's actually what it says, straight up. And you can look at Google Translate, you can look at DeepL, we can look in a Japanese dictionary, straight up. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't your blood work directly. Anything stated in it is intentional. Yeah. Yeah. I hear you. It's just infinite. Can't possibly be nearly, and that would still only be like solar system galaxy because shockwaves can move the area. Yeah, that's true. I mean, they say this is appropriate area for us to fight. And when you factor in that Vasto Lorde is weaker than these two at this point of the story, or relative, like they should be weaker. Vasto Lorde is weaker than the two at this point. And Vasto Lorde was going to destroy the gates of hell if you want to use that. And if you don't want to use that, he's like, oh, it doesn't matter. You can destroy the entirety of, like, you know, it gets crazy. Nah, Roz, I think what he's saying is like the relative area they shook kind of implies that they gotta be at the bare minimum of that, yeah. Gone from Darktober versus Scarlet King. Who wins? I don't know. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, DFR, for the €2 donation. I don't know who Don is, so let me look him. Don who is. I'd have to look into how strong he is, but Scarlet King is one of the top OGs that I know about. So Scarlet King does seem a bit stronger, but I could be wrong. I would have to really dive deep, but I do appreciate it. If I get a chance to go deeper into this, I definitely would. But the stream is coming close to the end. Okay, that's good. I would appreciate that. But who would win? Shinra from Fire Force or Kenpachi Highball? Kenpachi. He says yes. He's saying an infinite size dimension is solar galaxy. Tyler, I don't think you know what infinite. Nah, I don't think so. I think Tyler's trying to explain that it is like like he's trying to say at the bare. I think what Tyler is saying is the bare minimum is solar to galaxy level, is what he's trying to say. Because he's saying if they could shake a relative area of it, they can't be like, you know. And I get what Roz is saying, because it's like, bro, if they could shake any of that, bro, they're just they're just universal. But you know, yeah. See, I thought so. I knew Tyler was agreeing. I could kind of tell by the way Tyler's been typing in the chat today. Tyler's on the sauce. Tyler's like on the good sauce. Like he's cooking. He's in the kitchen. All right. But yeah. So lastly, just to kind of conclude the stream, the reason why I say Granola is one of the strongest Dragon Ball characters, like for hacks wise, is because this character, I mean, if he fought Naruto with stats equalized, like the problem is he's basically Neji, and that makes him scary. He's basically Neji to Naruto, and he has Hakai, and he has teleportation, which is infinite. He's beyond infinite speed of the degree that where Goku uses instant transmission, so he pops in and out of existence. And he has the ability to not even wind it up. He could just do it there and it's body. So like if he fought Naruto, his hacks, he like knows so many different techniques, and he can hit every vital point and not miss. And he literally almost killed Goku with a simple ki blast because of how scary accurate it was. So if he hits Naruto at any pressure point, it's over, even with stats equalized. If he fights Ichigo and hits Ichigo in a specific spot, stats equalized, that's it. Plus he has Hakai. So he has ways to deal with Ichigo, and he would get stronger and evolve because he's a Cerulean and he can evolve as the battle progresses. It's ridiculous what type of hacks these guys have. With like, and the thing is, Granola is the type of person who wouldn't let Ichigo activate Bankai. He would kill him right there. Naruto, he would kill him. Like he's like Hiei. As soon as the battle begins, Granola will kill you right off the bat. Ready? You're dead. He would kill you right there. He is not sparing you, not giving you a chance to talk. You're dead. He wants you dead. He doesn't want to give you a chance to power up. That's it. Battle's over. In some cases, he was curious because the Saiyans like pissed him off. But in a regular versus battle scenario, he will kill you and that is it. He's done. All right, you're dead. I'm done. Move on. That's it. Well, he didn't get to use his like Bankai. He doesn't care. Don't want to see it. I don't care about your Bankai. I don't want to see it. Die. Trunks is the same way. Trunks and Granola is the same way. Granola is more deadlier than Trunks because of his hacks. So literally, Granola is basically, I don't care what your techniques or hacks are, your background, die. Okay, moving on. That's it. I think Granola destroys Hit. Because it's the same principle. He would hit in places Hit didn't even well, actually, no, it'd be close. It'd be close. But Granola has instant transmission and insane reaction. He'd be able to say, nah, I can react to that. So, yeah. But yeah. Granola is a shoot first, ask question later guy. Only difference is it's a sight on it's yeah. Thank you. Boss knows what's up. It's the same thing. God dang, that's insane. I can't believe that Star Wars, even with my mid-end type of scaling, it's like, oh, so where does Star Wars scale mid-end? Infinite hyperversal? What? Bro, they might as well be out of row. They pretty much almost are. But that's like that's when you're going with the I'm trying to be as conservative as, because again, mid-end is trying to acknowledge but be as conservative as possible. So yeah, that's the only reason why it came out like that. It's without a doubt out of versal. Like you can't argue it. You use the high end. It's like you use high end. It's like nah, it's out of versal, bro. You can't. It's like, I know it's crazy, but hey, like we read it right here, and you're not. And the thing is, let me show chat something. I'm not even reading the stuff that I was sent. Like, if you guys want to go crazy, there's this. Hold on, let me see here. Oh my gosh. Okay, hold on. So for those who don't know, like there are so many scans like to look at. Like there's this scan. See that? There's that scan, that scan, that scan. Oh, hold on, different one. That scan, that scan, that scan, that scan, that scan, that scan, that scan. You get what I mean? And that's not even, I'm not even done yet. I'm still, there's like that scan, that scan, that scan, that there's literally over like 70 scans. 70. All proving, higher dimensionality and like no. We are not doing this today. We will be here all day. Maybe if you gave me if Joker gave me $1,000 donation, then I would do it. Then I'll do it. I'll be like, all right, I'm gonna read every last one of these. Be here until 3 a.m. But no, all jokes aside though, yes. Well, actually, let me see. Let's count. How many scans are there? All right, let's see. All right, this is 10, 20, 30, 40, 41, 51, 61, 71, 81, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103, 104, 105, 106, 107, 108, 109, 110, 111, 112, 113, 114. And then there's more. There's 2 PDF packets, so 115 and 16. a book, 117, 118, 119, 120, 121. God dang! 121 scans! I am never underestimating Joker again. I'm about to make a role called the Scan Lord. I'm about to call him the Scan Lord, bro. Like the Scan Lord. Like that's the...
Hey, cool face.
What? Roz! Oh my god! Oh! Oh my gosh! He's crazy. He's crazy. Oh my gosh! Okay. This dude literally puts 120 scans and then Roz drops $100 freaking dollars. Oh my lord. Alright, you know what? I was supposed to end this, but I'm reading these two scans with enthusiasm, okay? The Tython Jedi came to recognize that the Force had two fundamental aspects, the light side and Ashla, and the dark side that they called the Bogan. The light side of the Force was regarded as the essence of creation, balance and growth that flowed naturally throughout the galaxy. The dark side was believed to be entirely selfish in nature and embraced negative energy. That made one simultaneously more isolated and more destructive. The Jedi required generations to master the Force, transforming what once had been regarded as wizardry into something of science. After they learned that the Force was all-encompassing, they ventured to the other worlds to recruit and train those with similar power. Some Jedi chose the path of diplomacy, while others became expert at battle, respectively distinguishing themselves as Jedi Consolers and Jedi Guardians, those Jedi who served specific sectors of space became known as Jedi Watchmen. According to Sargon, a Jedi Consular from the earliest days of the Republic who speaks from the Great Holocron, the ability to manipulate the Force may be usual, but it is not unique. Genetics has the potential to use the Force to one degree or another, perhaps not to move rocks and take giant strides, but in some senses those physical powers are little more than the surface effects. The power, the real power, are more subtle, for they involve adhering to the true path, avoiding the temptation to dominate, sacrificing oneself for those who have less, and living impeccably by recognizing that the Force doesn't flow from us, but through us, even on the move. All right, guys, how am I doing? How's my voicing so far? Following the war with the Yuuzhan Vong, the Jedi decided that they should not be afflicted with any political entity that might interfere or restrict their efforts to maintain peace. The Jedi dismissed all politicians from what is now known as the Master's Council and relocated the Jedi Academy to Alsus. Kirana T returned to her war-ravaged homeworld, Dathomir, whatever, with Streen, who worked with her to establish a new Jedi proxium for the Force-sensitive Dathomirians. Luke Skywalker continued to lead the new Jedi Order, but in this current period of darkness, it is difficult for anyone to foresee how the Order will evolve and whether it will continue to thrive. For all the countless hours that Jedi have spent in meditation and contemplation of the Force, it is not their quiet moments for which they are generally recognized, but rather their special abilities. Popularly regarded as supernatural powers, some of these abilities, including fast reflexes and telepathy, are naturally possessed by various species. But only Force-sensitive beings are known to have mastered such a wide array of paranormal talents. The Jedi regard their skill as rooted in 3 areas: control, sense, and alter. According to the Jedi Master Vados, control is eternal. It is how would Vados sound? Control is eternal. It is the Jedi's ability to recognize the Force in himself and to use it to his benefit. Sense involves the next step in which a Jedi recognizes the Force in the universe outside herself. Here, she feels the Force and is able to draw upon it for information about the world around her. Through it, she is connected to the rest of the universe. Alter is the third and most difficult area to master, for it involves the student's ability to modify the Force and redistribute its energy. Through these skills, the Jedi can influence the universe, making... God dang! Okay, so yeah. There you have it. Luke Skywalker is clapping. God dang. Roz, thank you so much for the $100 donation. Let's get some fires in the chat for Roz, everyone. Like, for real. Like, seriously, that was awesome. Roz, you are the GOAT. That was incredible. That was incredible. Seriously, thank you so much. That is the most... You're, like, number one. I really appreciate that. Wow, that was insane. That really means a lot. That is, like, my whole... You made my whole day. That really means a lot to me, my friend. Thank you. God bless. Wow. I don't know what to say. Oh, DSM. So the way it goes to outer is actually this scan. Where is it? Sea critters need sea critters not this one. DSM 24. So it says the supreme binding energy of the Star Wars cosmology, the Force, exists beyond all mathematics and reasoning, as well as all concepts that you or I can name, existing completely beyond explanation. It is no wonder that most people cannot accurately describe the Force. This is just a mere shadow of its true nature. It is all things transcending itself so many times that it's impossible for even us, the Wills, to accurately picture it, which the Wills are supposed to be authoritative level beings. So, yeah, if you're going to say the Wills are at mathematical levels or Hyperverse Plus and the Force is beyond them, beyond infinite layers, then either the Force is Aleph to the 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 Aleph plus Omega, however many math notations you want to use, hyperversal, or it's just straight up outerversal because it's beyond math, so it's beyond measure. Yeah, the Jedi's, yeah. And Vader can use oneness with the Force, which is using the Force at its peak in its entirety, by the way. So you're telling me, so no wonder Roz was like, yeah, composite Luke is broken. Roz was like, I remember that Neo versus Luke, and it's like, composite Luke? Nah, Atari. Nah. The expanded universe is insane. Oh my goodness. I still can't get over it. Roz literally donated $100. My gosh.
Thank you so much, my friend. All right, fellas. I have work tomorrow. And it is time for me to prepare to eat dinner. So, because I haven't eaten all day, I'm going to conclude from here. I just want to give a shout out and special thanks to everyone who stopped by the stream. It was being extremely supportive. You guys it really does mean a lot to me. I'm very happy to have you guys on board, and thank you so much. Now, so you guys know, the next stream, I'm going to try my best. It's going to be approximately scheduled on Wednesday. We might do more gaming in that case, but if anyone is down for some viewing of the death battles, then we could definitely take a look at that. We also will talk about more health-related stuff, because again, in the beginning of the stream, we talked about health-related content. So if you guys like health-related content and you like me to mix up anime or power scaling with health-related stuff, I could definitely do that, because, you know, power scaling is fun, but like we don't want to get dry. You don't want power scaling to get dry. So let's like always keep it versatile and mix it up. But all right. Composite Luke versus Xenogoku. Maybe stalemate. Or depends. Are we using high-end Xenogoku? Because high-end Xenogoku, then yeah, then it's like it could be. I know more about Xenogoku than I do Composite Luke, so I would say, yeah, if it's, you know, I'll have to think on that one, because I'm still learning about Composite Luke, and Composite Luke seems stupid enough to where you'll need Composite Goku, but at that point they kind of stalemate. Yeah. All right, man. You guys have a wonderful night. Guys, you guys still want to debate this, just take it to the Discord again. But everyone else who stopped by, this is Atari HMP. I appreciate you guys for coming through, and I'll be signing off today. Peace. And thanks again, everyone. Have a great night. See you Wednesday. Maybe. Oh, shoot. No. My schedule's not Wednesday. Why did I say Wednesday? What is wrong with me? What is my schedule? Every Monday and Tuesday. Okay, so I'll see you guys tomorrow.